Good afternoon, my fellow New Yorkers. My name is Rafael, also known as Cafidel, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to play my favorite MOBA game called Deadlock. What I'm going to be mainly talking about in this video are things such as what roles exist in the game, what heroes go to which role, where these heroes, which lane they go to, why they go to this and that lane, what are some characteristics or the reason as to why they're categorized in such a way. I'll also be talking about that. And what the sole job of a role is, I'll also be talking about that when I get to each and every role. I will then be based on the job that a role has. I will be telling you which items you want to buy, because these items will help you do your job better, and vice versa. I'll be telling you items which I see people buy, but you should not buy because they either don't help you do your job or don't do it as efficiently and as effectively as other items that you want to buy. And later on, I will talk about, or probably at the beginning, maybe even now, I will talk about introduce such terminologies such as hard lane, and easy lane, and mid lane, why I call them this way, and why Haze, the core, and Big Fat Dynamo goes into the mid lane, why the mid is just an AFK farm lane where you don't even fight that much, why the side lanes are aggressive lanes and how they differ between how the mid lane differs from a side lane, why the easy lane is you don't have to conditionally win it, like you're not forced to win this lane, because if you go neutral in this lane, you're already winning the game. But why in the hard lane you need strong heroes like these two blueberries here, why you need them and why you must win this lane. I'll also probably talk about this in this video, but a topic about laning is planned for a future video where I will go in depth about the things such as power positions in the lane, how the architecture of lane differs, why both side lanes are actually different, why this is a more passive lane and defensive lane, which is an aggressive lane that you must win. If you do not win this lane, you are going to probably lose the game or be in a very bad spot, because you lose this lane, you have no comeback camps, you have 3 comeback camps, and this camp, by the way, does not belong to you, it belongs to the mid laner. It's the core's farm. Just live with that fact. So you only have these 3 comeback camps, and if you lose or just don't win this lane, go neutral, this camp doesn't really belong to you. This camp does not belong to you, and they have all these comeback camps, and this camp belongs to the right lane. So this camp belongs to the right lane. So you're going to just lose in terms of money, in terms of the amount of camps you have. And you also have this camp on your side of the lane. So this belongs to you, and this gives you like an item advantage at 6 minutes, I believe. And with that item advantage, or closer to 5, if you get lucky in boxes, you are able to contest the buff with an extra tier 1 item, which is very strong. So you have all the tools in this lane when you go to left lane to win this lane, and you must win this lane because you don't have a tier 3 comeback camp, and you must win this lane to secure this one, to get even, because they have a tier 3 on their lane as a comeback camp and you don't. So you want this one. And you might say this one is, which is kind of true, but if you don't win lane, this doesn't really belong to you. It's very easy to take. This is very difficult to take because it's just way too close to the walker, way too deep in enemy territory. But yes, all those kind of specifics and uniqueness to laning, power positions, how to stand lane, all that in a future video. In this video, mainly I'm going to cover just again roles, heroes, what items you want to buy, why you want to buy them, and what you want to do on every hero in this game. But before we get to the fun stuff, which is roles and heroes and whatnot, we have to agree on one fact, and that is Deadlock is a MOBA game. It's not a hero shooter, not an arena shooter, not Marvel Rivals 2, not Overwatch 3. It's a MOBA game, it's closer to Dota 3 or League of Legends 2. And uniquely, Deadlock reminds me of a combination Deadlock of League of Legends and Dota, because the gameplay reminds me of League of Legends, but the itemization reminds me of Dota. So that I might bring this up point somewhere closer when I get to Offlaners. Because this role is very close to like top laner in League of Legends, right? So there's that kind of uniqueness. But Deadlock also has another unique aspect to it, and which is souls. The economy in Deadlock is different to other MOBA games. Let me tune down the music, even though it's very nice, very classical, very professional. But it has souls. And what souls function like gold plus XP in other MOBAs. And this turns into such a conundrum that everyone in your team, every one of these heroes wants to get souls, wants to get money. Because money is both XP and gold. Or souls are both XP and gold. So even these guys, they want money. But because they're not as efficient, they cannot farm tier 3 camps. Like it's very hard or take very long, very inefficient farming tier 3 camps. Well, these guys, they love farming tier 3 camps, they do it very well. These guys love farming tier 3 camps, they do it very well. And they want to farm enemy jungle, enemy tier 3s. But these guys not so good. And these guys should not be farming tier 3 camps. If I see you farming tier 3 camps on any of these heroes, I will find you. Okay? So they buy other sources of souls in their items, which is different from farming. Like they're not really interested in farming, but they can. But tier 2s, tier 1s, they're just amazing at farming them. They can all farm, but they have strong ultimates, and when they're off cooldown, they're gonna be off cooldown. They are off cooldown quite a lot that I see in games, right? They want to walk with their team and press those buttons. And then they want to get participations. Very easy to get participations with them. But again, more about items and why they buy them, why it's good on these heroes, when I get to the hard support pro. For now, we know everyone needs money, everyone needs souls in this game, and just the role in this game and in any MOBA is to be getting advantage. And every single one of your actions, every single one of your decisions that you make has to go at making yourself stronger or making opponents weaker. That's just kind of basics of a MOBA game. But a little introduction, since I already started talking about MOBAs. What is MOBA mainly about? Mainly it's about controlling waves, shoving waves, creeps, getting advantages from those waves, getting information from those waves, right? And waves gives you information and money, and these two resources are very important in MOBA games, because with information, like seeing someone, getting vision of someone on the map, like if you see someone here and you already pushed out this wave, you see someone here because he has to push that wave or shove that wave, because otherwise the team will just lose money. You see them on the map, you get information, you can then make a decision because you see them on the map. And when you don't see them on the map, you can't really make a decision, because they could be, well, anywhere on the map, essentially, right? There is kind of nuances where, well, they showed on the map like 10 seconds ago, and so they can only be in a certain area, right? But that's nuances. As a rule of thumb, like if you don't see someone on the map, you are not able to actually make an informed decision, because logically you don't have that information. And how does information work, and why these two resources are important? Because again, information lets you make decisions, vision of enemies and where they're located on the map lets you make decisions, proactive decisions that you want to make if you want to win the game, right, of MOBA or of Deadlock. And money gives you different options. And decisions essentially are just you taking an action, making a proactive action out of the options. Like when you pick out of the options that money or different kind of advantages give you. Now, to prove this point, you'll probably encounter this kind of situation, or you have encountered this kind of situation before, where you are fed, or maybe the enemy is fed, right? Just a fed hero, and it could be you, it could be the enemy, shows like somewhere in lane which you are residing in and which you are interested in shoving and pushing out. It shows somewhere there like 5 seconds ago. With this, because he is fed and you are behind, you have less money than him, and so if you show on the map or if you show somewhere close to him, he'll just run at you and he will kill you, right? That just works from the fact that you don't have as much money as him, and he has more options than you. Like, he has the options to kill you, you don't have an option to kill him, you have an option to die to him if you go and push the wave. That's your only option because you don't have the money. And the decision that you can make from the information that you have, because he showed on the wave somewhere over here 5 seconds ago, the only decision you can make based on the options that your money or your lack of money gives you is that you have to give up this wave, and you have to give him shove, and you have to answer push out this wave when it gets over here. And then he gets a lot of tempo because he can take your camps over here after up, blah blah blah, get himself stronger, make yourself weaker because he's taking away your camps and your net wars, your team's net wars. So moments like that. And so there's kind of this symbiotic relationship between decisions or information and money, because information lets you make decisions and money gives you options, or different kind of advantages give you options, and you just with information you're able to pick out of those options. And there's this kind of relationship. Now, do different sources of information, and when I talk about information over here, it's mainly about getting the location or the position of an enemy hero, and and that entails vision. Yeah, so you could just put a synonym for this word as vision, but why I don't say vision? Because in other MOBAs it makes sense, because other MOBAs have things like wards to get information, to get this vision of enemies. But in this game we don't have wards, but we have other ways. We have things like invis and things like sound, which kind of make or solve the problem of not having wards, even though playing a MOBA game without wards is pretty difficult. But we have what we have. So what kind of sources of information can we get? We can get from creep waves, because again, you push out a wave, someone answers, you see them on the map, you get information, you get vision of them. Sound, you stand over here, Haze is hitting a camp over here, you hear her gun, you hear her reloading with her dagger, and so you know that, okay, Haze is over here on the map right now, and he doesn't know because you're just like running around doing whatever. Vision, obviously looking at an enemy will show them on the minimap, and will show them, you will see them on your screen, and you could just click voice chat and tell your team, hey, Haze is over here, maybe we can kill her. And invis, which is a subset of vision, but it's much stronger because enemies don't see you and you see enemies. So you have an information advantage when you have invis, but more about invisibility and why it's strong and why it's good, and it gets better the later the game goes on, when I talk about this item, and probably when I talk about Haze and Core. So that's sources of information. That's to do with vision. There's other sources of information, and the most popular and the most globally available one is when you look at the top of your screen. So when you look at the top of your screen, you have a lot of information. You see things such as your teammates' ultimates, whether they're up or they're down, like their cooldown. You see their soul net wars, how strong they are. You see your own soul net wars. You see whether your teammates are dead or they're alive. You see your team's soul net wars. You see mid boss buff, whether you have it, enemies have it, how long the mid boss lasts. And you also see enemy soul net wars, like vice versa, right? You see whether dead or alive, their ult cooldowns, how strong they are, how much money they have, etc, etc. And the most important out of all of these points, what you see is the timer. A timer is a great source of information, and you should really be looking at it 24/7, or at least every 5 seconds, because this lets you plan out your game plan, because timer tells you when buffs spawn, when urn spawns, when mid boss spawns, right? It gives you a lot of information, like when camps spawn as well, right? When camps are back up. Really strong source of information. Please look at your screen and look at the timer. Look at these 4 funny digits. But that's mainly all about information. Now, what are sources of money? And money just the most basic and direct form of advantage you can get, because when you have money, you're just stronger, and it's double value in this game, because souls are both XP and items, or gold, which you buy then turn into items. So what gives you money in this game? Objectives, things like mid boss, things like urn, things like I would say, and that's why I talked about money being just a basic form advantage, because buff is also an objective and it gives you an advantage, very big advantage. But what gives you money, according to the fact is like objectives, mid boss, urn, camps, uh, walkers, guardians, base guardians, shrines. All this gives you money. These objectives, you are mostly going to be fighting for them in MOBA games. So camps, which are just objectives, right? Creeps, creep waves, talked about this over here. Kills and boxes, all these things give you money, as well as some items like this, right? And this, but getting more money on any hero is always welcome. But the price for this and this is too steep on these roles, but on these roles not so much, because they don't farm as efficiently as every one of these. And they are able to get this stacks for this pretty easily with barriers, with heals, with her 2 and with her 3 and her very long range ult. So they're able to get stacks very, very frequently, and they want to be in teamfights. They want teamfights to revolve around them and happen around them. And this as well, because the damage that they lose is not really a steep price to pay compared to when these guys lose damage. They lose a lot, because these guys farm slower, these guys trade worse and farm slower, shove wave slower in aggressive lane, and this is the same story as this when it comes to laning. But yeah, anyways, we are now done with a little mini lecture about MOBA games and Deadlock, blah blah blah. Now let's get into the actual roles and to the main core information of the video. And I'm just gonna go left to right, so here, 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 and I'll have timestamps in the description. Also in the description I will put the link to this whiteboard, so that you can like zoom in and zoom out and play around and check it out, maybe experiment yourself. All that will be in the description, as well as of course my Twitch, where I will be probably the second part of the video, which will be solely about laning, everything about laning. I will probably do it on stream, record it on stream, and then just upload it to YouTube later. So check it out. But anyways, let's start with hard carry core. As you can see, these are the heroes that go to this role. Why they go into this role is because they all share similar characteristics, as in the fact that they're weak in lane. Now, there's many different reasons as to why they could be weak in lane. Number one is they have bad stats, they're low HP, their gun is not that scary early game, like level 1, level 2, level 3. They have like Haze, who has basically only one damaging spell in lane, which is a skill shot and doesn't deal that much damage anyway, which is her dagger, right? Her 2 deals no damage, it's just map traversal and information gathering tool in the late game. And third is her passive, which a guy gets behind an obstacle and GG, you have no damage, right? She just wants to shoot at enemies and get clear lines of sight. And let me tell you, that's also the reason, because they're weak laners, they have bad shit for trading. That's why they do not go here into aggressive lanes, because you're gonna be trading in these lanes 24/7. Because the center of the lane to your tower, to the safe space over here, is much longer than it is in mid lane, right? And as well as the fact that these are much close quarters, there is much more cover in these lanes to hide behind guns and counter heroes like this. Well, here you have the bridge, which just gives you line of sight on the whole lane, and the lane is just shorter, right? You also have this here, which gives you line of sight, and these heroes want to get clear line of sight in lane, because they are interested in shooting their gun, and clear line of sight help you shoot your gun at enemies. Yeah, so consensus is that they are weak laners, bad lane for different reasons. They all have some kind of, in their kit, they all have some kind of either a self gun buff, like Wraith, like 7 on their 3, and Haze, or they have in their kit something which works well with their gun, like Haze passive, right? Works when you have a lot of fire rate, it increases, like her DPS is tied to her fire rate. It's like the uniqueness of the hero. They are all great at farming jungle. They're all great at killing objectives, so killing structures, killing towers, like you can imagine, right? At 20 minutes, if you leave Wraith alone with your walker for 5 seconds, that walker is as good as dead. You've probably experienced this yourself in your games. And the number one reason why this role even exists is that they are the best and the most efficient at killing mid boss. As the whole role or the whole purpose of this role, the whole purpose of these heroes is to kill mid boss when you have one player advantage or two player advantage. And what I mean by this is when the enemy team has 4 or 5 heroes and your team has 6. You have 1 or 2 player advantage, and these guys just jump into mid boss pit, kill mid boss in 20 seconds. And if the enemy has 5, they do it solo. If the enemy has 4, they take one of these guys with them, and they take mid boss in 20 seconds, while their team is either here if they know enemy will not contest, or they're standing on top of mid pit over here in the entrances, right, to give information to the guys inside pit, because the guys inside pit, you have no information because there's whales over here. Like you have no idea what's happening in the outside world, and your teammates are there to serve as wards and not let them get inside, so that you as a team will know what to do and what your next actions are, what decisions you can do. So that is the way. That's why you don't want. That's why like this role is like super strong, and it's like solo carries games, because the way you win in mobile games is by killing objectives. Like you have to kill the main objective, which is like throne, the patron, and these guys are they are superior at doing that than any other role, any other hero. So now that we know why these guys are here, let's talk about their roles. So their main role in the game is to kill mid boss, to give the team the mid boss buff. That is the sole reason they exist. But they're also interested in destroying towers, objective structures like guardians, right? Walkers, base guardians, and shrines. They are the guys who, when you have mid boss, you go into enemy base and you just their base just falls in like 30 seconds, right? Because these guys build a lot of gun, build a lot of damage, and they're really good. Their kits help them, and their guns, their kits help them do that. But other than all of these things, where they want to farm, they want to farm a lot, farm the whole game, just PvE gameplay before 15 minutes, because they want to get as much items and as much damage to do these two main jobs better. Right? And also getting damage, they build damage so that they can farm faster, blah blah blah, and they don't want to waste money on green items unless the green items gives them some kind of DPS. Right? They don't want to buy HP. That's why they don't want to buy this item or this item. But more about that in this section. So yeah, and obviously to not die. This is very big on these heroes. You never want to die because you lose too much tempo. Because when you're dead, number one, you're not farming, right? And if you died, you somehow got into a fight, and so you already wasted time because you're in a fight, you're not farming, and you're not supposed to fight on these heroes because they're weak at fighting. They don't have buttons, they don't have strong buttons for fights. 7 is kind of like an exception in this, right? And this bitch, she's only interested in, like, if it's a fight, it's an unfair 1v1 when she has her ult and she has capacitor. But that is a uniqueness of the hero because unlike these two heroes, which has a semi teamfight ult, right? Semi teamfight AoE ult, and this guy has very big teamfight ult. Wraith doesn't have that, doesn't have those ultimates, but she has very strong 1v1 kill potential ultimate. And because solo kills give you like 125% of souls, this is an alternative way of for her to get souls and get ahead is solo kills. Like, it's uniqueness of this hero, of this carry. Then dying is bad on these heroes because you lose too much tempo, you're not farming, blah blah blah. Logical, understandable, etc, etc. But now that we know the objectives, the role or the job of this role of these heroes, let's go into the items that help you do your job, help you complete these objectives. Number one is monster rounds. Pretty self-explanatory because you're gonna be farming, you're gonna be hitting jungle, you're gonna want to push in the wave as fast as possible so that you can go into jungle and farm your jungle, right? And this, you take less damage from jungle creeps, you deal more damage to them. Amazing item. You also get out of combat region, and because you're not gonna be fighting a lot on these heroes, you're gonna be looting free region, like free 2 region, pretty frequently. So amazing item. Now, and this is also an item that is primarily like only bought on these heroes as well as goods. Now Cult is just an upgrade version of Monster Rounds, better version. Also at 8 minutes lets you take tier 3 camps pretty easily. Amazing item. Also gives you nice stats, gives you weapon damage and HP. AoE, you don't really care about that, but HP on an item that you bought, on a damage item, is always like good. It's always worth, especially this like stacks very nicely with our objective and with our goals, while also giving us HP, and we are not going to be buying HP like whatsoever early game, because we want to just get as much damage as possible and farm faster. So getting HP from an item which helps us farm and helps us get damage is very lucrative and very nice. And yeah, again, this item, you only build it on these heroes and not on anyone else. Reasons for that will be when I touch upon this when I get to the roles, and I'll explain why you don't buy this item. But TLDR, it's only for these guys. Kinetic Dash. These heroes are only interested in shooting their gun. That is the whole reason. They want to shoot their gun either faster, or so their gun deals more damage, so that they can increase their DPS, so that they can farm faster and get more money and get more items which give them more DPS, which will increase, and it's like endless snowball of just damage and farming. But this item gives you for 1600 25% fire rate, I believe, which is crazy, because this item for same money gives you 20%, right? It gives you 25%, which increases your DPS, so you farm faster. Amazing item. More DPS, farm faster. What else could you ask for from 1600? Also, it's an orange item, which gives you orange weapon, gun, and vest. Amazing item. Same story here, 20% for 1600. Thank you very much, Yoshi. I will buy this item. I'll farm faster, and I'll go win the game. And the game while the enemy Haze is buying this item, right? It doesn't help her farm, doesn't do anything. Just like, oh, now I run faster from, I don't know, from camp to camp, maybe. Just useless as item. Again, more about that in this section. But yeah, increase your DPS, and all of these items help you increase your DPS in some way, because they're number one, all 1600, and they're all cheap. They're cheap and give you very good stats for their price. Tank magazine, again, all you want to do on these heroes is shoot your gun. This lets you shoot your gun for longer, also gives you weapon damage, 1600, nearly doubles your magazine. Very, very strong item. What's it? Intensify magazine gives you max ammo. You like max ammo because you want to shoot your gun. You're going to be holding M1 for a lot, because all you want to do is shoot your gun once again. So you're going to be getting, this is like free 45% weapon damage for 1600, which is a very good deal. Now, what's this? Not Cool to Sacrifice. Blood Tribute, right? Blood Tribute gives you for 3200. And now I will just introduce a kind of a way of thinking, or an idea of how you're supposed to think about items, just in general, right? Like for whatever item you build, you have to look at first the cost of an item, and then obviously the alternatives to that cost, like what you can get for it, like what stats it gives you, and maybe I could get those stats or better for cheaper, or just a different item will give me more and it'll be better. That's essentially how, because you have to compare, otherwise, because there's so many items in this game, you have to compare them to invest your items in the correct place, or in the correct artifacts. So this 3200 gives you 35% fire rate without any condition, because there is a little moment, right? Because there's this Hydra, right? A burst fire, which costs same amount of money, but gives you like, I think, 42% fire rate, right? Which is 7% more. Nice DPS. But the condition for it is to shoot enemy heroes. And you're not going to be fighting, you're not going to be interacting with enemy heroes a lot, unless it's with some kind of setup, right? Because all you're interested in buying damage, and it's nice because you want to get more damage to, I don't know, shoot creeps and kill them faster to get more gold and farm faster. But you could also, because you're buying a lot of damage, you could also, ejaculate that damage onto the enemies, but with some kind of setup or control where they're just standing still. All you have to do is hold them one, and yes, you can use that damage onto enemies, but you're just not going to be actively looking for fights. Like if this guy sets up a kill for you, just like thank you very much Mo for the free money. I will take it and I'll get more items and I'll kill mid-boss even earlier and win you the game. GG. Very nice. But yeah, this has a condition and it's worse than this because this you will get the 35% fire rate when you're farming camps, when you're hitting heroes, when you're hitting mid-boss, like permanently. Well, this is only if a hero's on your screen and you landed the bullet on him. So it's just worse. Also gives more move speed than this and gives you debuff resistance, which is a very important stat in this game, especially on you, because of items such as Disarming Hex. Disarming Hex, if you didn't know, it stops you from playing the game, from completing your role, because all you want to do is shoot your gun. It stops you from playing the game for 5 seconds. With this item, plus like this item, right, you get around 50% debuff resist or 55. And instead of not playing the game for 5 seconds, you don't play the game for around 2 seconds. Pretty good deal, I would say, for an item that gives you not only a lot of DPS, but it also now gives you this option. Just very good item. And the cost in terms of 50 HP per second is literally nothing, because you're going to be having a lot of damage and you're building lifesteal and you're just going to be lifestealing it all back. That's not a problem. Tesla Bullets. Tesla Bullets is an item for Wraith, because inherently her gun is pretty weak, like in terms of just raw damage and DPS, and her most of her damage is when she clicks her 3, she gets a lot of spirit damage per bullet, right, and that's her main kind of DPS tool. So she buys this, she farms faster because her gun is not that strong, and she buys fire rate, and the fire rate works very well with this passive. Also upgrades into capacitor, which gives her the option or betters her game plan of trying to find solo kills to get another source of income. So amazing item for Wraith. Used to be good also on Haze, because Haze gets really countered by Metal Skin, and Capacitor used to take away Metal Skin or used to dispel positive buffs on enemies. Now doesn't do that. Now it's not that good on Haze, because the active that you get, you're not really interested, because it's an active which helps you kill enemies, and you want to kill creeps and kill mid-boss, and only at around 30k when you have this item and this item will you want to join fights. Glass Cannon. Amazing item because it gives you DPS and only costs you what, 15% HP, gives you 80% weapon damage, I believe, and also fire rate every time you participate in a kill or get a kill. Fire rate is good on all of these because increases your DPS. You shoot your gun faster when you have your 3 open, shoot your gun faster when you have your 3 on you, and just fire rate very good on this hero. Right, and the 15% max HP or 10% max HP is nothing, because that 10% or 15% HP, you're not a tank, you naturally have bad HP growths, you're not going to be building HP, and so, and that 10%, 15% of HP will not have saved you from something like a nuke from any of these, if any of these heroes get on you and click their buttons, right? If this bitch lassos you, this bitch swaps you, if Flash jumps on you, takes away like does 1000 damage, this guy eats you, that 10% HP will not save you. But that 80% of damage will help you kill mid-boss faster, help you farm faster, and help you kill enemies which get set up by your team. So it helps you do your job. And your safety or in like fights and everything lies in these guys, because these guys have heal, these guys buy rescue beam, and if Flash ults you, they rescue out of you, and if these guys displace you, they rescue beam you out, right? Same thing with Mole. So these guys are the ones who are supposed to hold a good position and save you if these guys are trying to break your position. So armor piercing rounds, this is more of a late game item for something like Haze, because she kind of, for something like, I don't know, maybe Dynamo, to kill him when he's ult, because he buys like these 2 items, because he just wants to live in his ult for as long as possible under BKB. So yeah, it's like you're able to just kill him when you press your BKB. And also because you want to somehow counter tanks, because they have big HP pools, right? And this will, and if they get bullet resist basically from the items that they buy. So this will help you just kill them faster, and yes, and it will help you destroy all, because you'll be able to kill squishies, tanks, and no one in late game, just a monster. Great item. Ricochet, amazing item, something like Haze, again, because she also has this physical damage, and she has a passive, right, which she stacks onto enemies, and being able to stack your passive on multiple enemies when you're shooting only one hero or one enemy is very important, and is like the only sole reason she can like team fight. Only with this item. Without this item, she can maybe kill one enemy with setup because they're standing still, right? But other than that, she cannot kill the whole enemy team or just team fight in general. She will not have AoE DPS. Also, another thing, like micro tips and trick, right, is that this item is like a silent upgrade into Ricochet. Ricochet silently upgrades into this item when you don't have slots but you have money, because they give the same stats, 20% fire rate, 20% fire rate. This item also gets upgraded into like shot, right, because this you will clear a slot, put this in there, get 3 times less max ammo, but you'll get crazy DPS from this, and it's, yeah. Like, these kind of things exist in the game, where some items that you buy, but mostly on gun heroes, right, which replace other items, other artifacts. But yeah, like shot increases your DPS, replaces Titanic magazine, amazing item, right? Gives you DPS, very good. Like, what else can I say? Gives you stats that you want, and gives you basically crit, like from Dota. Good item. Battle Vest. Battle Vest is a great item, because on something like Haze, you buy this and then you buy Fury Trance, you get 4.8k invest on green, which is nice, and you get 4.8k invest into green, while investing into items which give you DPS. Like, it's it's very weird, because this item gives you 15% weapon damage and 7% fire rate, and this item gives you 35 or 40% fire rate, right, on something like Haze, which increases your DPS by a crazy amount. So, and the only problem of these items is that they're not orange items. But anyways, you get 9.6k invest with orange items, and then the next orange item you have to buy is 6.4k, and it's not that worth, and you are able to invest into green items, but only because these items give you DPS, or give you something, like, because this also gives you, I think, weapon damage and gives you lifesteal, which helps you sustain yourself in the jungle, right? Blah blah blah. Also upgrades into this item, and this item, amazing. But yeah, but not only does it give you these stats, or that it doesn't just give you these stats for free. It has a condition, right? It has a condition of having above 65% HP. And on these heroes which are not looking to fight and are just looking to AFK farm and lane, you will, because you're not going to be trading, because AFK farm lane, you're not going to be losing HP a lot. And you have like out of combat region here, right? You are going to be like more than 65% HP most of the time, or like practically all the time. And you also have these guys to heal you and these guys to heal you if you somehow get less than 65% HP. So it's not a problem, and you're going to be looting free 15% weapon damage and 7% fire rate. Crazy stats for 1600. This already explained. It builds into this, and builds into Leech. Super good item, lets you sustain while you're hitting jungle camps. Counterspell. Now, Counterspell is, I would say, it's strictly a pub item, and in proper Deadlock, which I am trying to explain to you and teach you guys to play, this item will not really exist. Because on these heroes which kind of want gun, maybe 7 can, because he can loot, like you get 20 ability, not ability power, 20 spirit power, and also possibly get like 8 spirit power, right, just from the stats that this item gives. To something like Haze, it gives you nothing. It gives the only stats that it gives that you want is like move speed after you parry something, and it gives you health passively just from the stats. Other than that, it gives you nothing, and what it really saves you from is like what? From these heroes which want to initiate a fight and break your positioning, right? It can save you. And that's correct. That's a correct way of thinking. That's why you can buy it in pubs. But in proper Deadlock, these heroes can save you with Rescue Beam, right? And you can buy this item, which also counters the very annoying item or debuffs like this, which stop you from shooting your gun. And so this item is just better, and also saves you from these buttons, from any kind of CC control, which will break your which will break your positioning in fight. This item is much better, and it gives you stats that you want, which is debuff resist and a much better active than this item. Fury Trance, already explained for something like Haze, probably not for something like Wraith, because Wraith wants to like shoot her gun and then throw her cards, and when you're silenced you can't really do that. So she doesn't really buy this item, and she just invests into other sources of damage, and the only green item she really gets, bigger item, is Leech. So yeah, but for Haze, amazing, because gives DPS, gives you lifesteal, super good item, gives you 4.8k invest with this item plus this item. And also is sold and upgraded into this late game. So amazing. Unstoppable, understandable, just better version of counter spell and proper item. Vampiric Burst, amazing for things like Haze, because reloads your gun, gives you fire rate, which gives you DPS, while also giving you crazy sustain. And replaces Fury Trance in late game. Amazing item. Leech is an alternative to Vampiric and kind of sustain in early fights later on in the game for these two heroes. Because even 7 is going to buy gun invest and going to buy gun items, because he procs his E or his 3, and then he still wants to shoot as much possible, so he's going to be buying fire rate, buying this item, buying this item, so he's going to have a lot of weapon damage just from the orange items that he gets from invest. And so being able to get both types of lifesteal is very nice on 7, and obviously Wraith, because she has gun items, and then she clicks her 3, and she has spirit damage per bullet, and very good on these heroes. QSR, obviously amazing on Wraith, amazing on Haze, because gives her fire rate, reloads her gun, amazing on Wraith because upgrades into this item, and she always has cards, so she can always reload, so amazing. What else? And yeah, gives fire rate, so gives DPS. Just great item for 1600. And also has a good upgrade version, which you want on these two heroes. Not really on 7, because 7, I don't think he has the slot for this, even though reload would be nice, but he just doesn't build reload. He just wants to get this and have shit ton of bullets, and that's it. What else? Surge of Power. Super crazy item, and kind of the same story as with this and this on Haze. It's like items which are not orange items, right? But they increase your DPS because they give you fire rate. They give you the fleet foot passive, so like when you shoot your gun you don't get slowed down, and gives you move speed. As well as it's amazing on Wraith because she can abuse the buff that this gives 24/7, also increasing her damage of her cards, increasing her DPS, right? And the cooldown, I'm pretty sure, is the same as the dagger for Haze, so she'll get this, so she can reload with QSR and then get this. She also gets the 4.8k invest in spirit, and her ammo scales with spirit, so really good item which increases her DPS and gives her good stats, good buffs. Super good item. That's why you don't buy this, because this increases your DPS while giving you the passive that you want on something like Haze, while also closing invest, which gives you more ammo, which indirectly gives you more DPS. So just a great item. That's why you don't buy this item, but buy this item instead. And what is this? Magnum, Mercurial Magnum, upgrade of QSR, just a better version. You want it on these two heroes practically every game, right? Okay, now, and this is just alternative items, right? Like this is alternative to this. This is just because of how well it works on 7, because you're gonna be shooting your gun and you're gonna be increasing your DPS for enemies and getting lifesteal and blah blah blah. Very good item on 7, sharing the resist. This is just an alternative to this, builds into Leech, and then these are just items that he wants because he is 7 and because he is mainly spirit carry, spirit core. But now that we know the items that these heroes want, now let's talk about what I see people build and why it hurts my eyes, it hurts my soul. People build these items and why you should probably never build them, right? Or they're just like less efficient for the price than any of these items. So why you don't buy egg? Is because I understand you want to farm and you want to get as much souls as possible to get items, and this kind of gives you passive souls, and you might think, well, isn't that just great? Because I'm not really fighting with the enemies, and I'm not trading, so just getting free souls and free buffs, scaling me into late is great. But no, why this is bad is because you lose 10% of your damage. you lose farm speed with this item, and you basically give up your lane. You give up your lane when you buy this item early. You just completely give up lane. Because you then, if your hero is already bad at trading, but your hero is bad at trading in these lanes. Like, is pretty good at trading in this lane because the architecture of the lane is different from here. Here is close quarters, a lot of cover for them to hide behind your gun, but here a lot of open quarters, like open line of sights. Power positions are good for your heroes with these guys' gun. So you're able to trade and you're able to win this lane, like you're able to trade this game, but just like you focus on far more in this lane than you do like with trading with opponents. And this item basically doesn't let you trade. You will lose every trade if you buy this item. It lessens your damage, so it lessens your farm speed. You shove wave slower than enemies, so they get wave prior, they get tempo, they're able to take your boxes or take their own boxes faster, take more boxes. So this item is just really bad for you and for what you want to do, even though logically you would think that that's the case. But buy a bad item, just never buy it on anyone except these guys. Healing Right. Healing Right costs 800 on something that it's an active item which your teammate, your hard support, can buy, and they do buy it, and they can throw on you if you really need the heal, because it also upgrades into items that you want. You buying this item for it gives you the stats that it gives you are useless on you, because I think it only gives you sprint speed and a heal, which again you can loot the heal when these guys buy it and these guys throw it on you. Doesn't You will sell this item because it doesn't upgrade into anything you want. You don't want any of these items, let me tell you. So you just wasted 800 money, and when you sell it, you wasted 400. It might not be a lot, but it's still 400, and on a heroes and on a role where tempo is very important, and you don't want to invest your money into. You don't want to make bad investments and just waste money willy-nilly like this. You don't want to throw away your net worth. So yeah, you do not buy this because, again, these guys can buy it if you really need the heal, and these guys can then upgrade the item into useful items which they will use and they can make use of. So the two boots, horrible, because green items are already a red flag on these heroes early. This is an item I see people buying on Haze very fucking early. I don't know, they just buy, like, they buy this item and then they buy Swiss Striker and then that's it. They forget about the fact that orange and other gun items exist, and then they buy this. I think they buy also, maybe they buy this sometimes, I think. And then they get purple invest, they get like these two items, or they get this item and then slowing hex. And that's it. Like, just crazy freaks, psychopaths. Like, no logic. Because again, green item is a big red flag already on these heroes because you want to buy damage to increase your farm speed. Doesn't give you DPS, which does not increase your farm. All it gives you is MS, which can help you go from camp to camp faster, but your gameplay would be early to mid would be one camp, lane, then maybe one camp, another camp, lane, and it's just like you going from here, back here, back into lane. This just doesn't help you do your job whatsoever because you farm faster. Bad item, don't buy it. This item is two times the cost of Titanic magazine, gives you less ammo, which does not let you shoot your gun as much as you would want, or as much as this item gives you, right? Damage, it gives you, I think, a little bit more damage, but also it costs two times the price. And you could, for the price of this, again, like what I said when I was talking about here, is you have to look at the price of the item and look at the alternatives. So alternatively, for 3200, I can buy this item plus this item, and this will give me more damage and more ammo. And I want the damage and the ammo from gun items, from an item, from like my items early game. What this gives me for its price is less ammo than this item, less damage than this item, and also gives me bullet resist, which is useless on me because I'm not going to be fighting on these heroes. You're not going to be fighting on these heroes. So why would you need bullet resist? It's just useless. Even though I know you have a gun which can easily get the 30% from here, but it's still bad because you're not a tank. You're not interested in resist. You're interested in damage and increasing your farm speed. Toxic bullets. Again, Same concept. 3200 is an orange item, which nice, gives you weapon vest, but 3200 doesn't increase your firing speed because it doesn't give you actual DPS. It's an item which debuffs an opponent, debuffs enemy heroes. So you want to buy this item and then shoot enemy heroes, but you're not going to be shooting enemy heroes because you're not going to be fighting. So why you would buy this item? Again, when other alternatives are much better, right? In increasing your DPS to creeps and to jungle camps. Just bad in comparison to other good items and useful items. A headshot booster or a weak point, right? Now you would think, because this item is an orange item and gives HP, which we think about is item gives me DPS because it's an orange item, only costs 1600, increases my DPS because I think it works on jungle creeps and just on lane creeps in general. So increases my DPS, gives me HP, which is pretty nice stat, a lucrative stat. Wow. But number one upgrades into dogshit item. And why dogshit item is because, again, it's a debuff. You can loot all the positive aspects of this item when your support buys an item. So like if your Ivy buys a weak point and lands one headshot onto the enemy, suddenly you loot all the positive or all the useful things of this item without even wasting your money on it. Amazing, amazing. And most items I will tell you in this game, if you with like on these core roles, if your support can buy them, usually if it's debuff items, your support can buy them, and you can loot the stats or the positive active or the passive of an item like this, just because they bought it, and you don't have to waste your money on it. You do not want to waste your money on core roles, but on any role especially. And buying kind of debuff items and items that make the life of enemies harder is the job of supporting roles. It's not your job. Or items that help you deal more DPS. And this, I still see people on haze buying it. You don't buy this because, again, it has an aura. 3200 is a support item because supports you can loot all the positive buffs of this item or the positive stats like fire rate on something like haze by McGenius buying it, being next to you, clicking Z or clicking the active of this item, and bam, you increase your DPS without wasting 3200 souls. Also has an aura which gives bullet resist to your team or to allied like entities units, right? Which is your heroes, allies, and your creeps. You're not going to be really pushing. The only time you're going to be pushing when it's a free situation, like you can see 6 enemies on the map or 5, and the one guy that you don't see, which could be here, is someone that you can easily kill or like easily 1v1, or you have some kind of setup which you guys can kill this, and it's a free walker. That's the only time. You're not going to be walking around with this item and following lane creeps like this for them to loot the buff of or loot the resists. And again, if you buy this, you have to run. You want to run with to get the most value out of this item. You want to run with your team so that your team can get the bullet resist in fights. You're not going to be joining fights because you're not going to be fighting on these heroes. You're going to be farming on these heroes. But these heroes have strong abilities, and you don't have strong abilities. These have strong abilities. They're interested in clicking their ultimates, their strong teamfight ultimates, in a fight. So they're going to be in the fight. So that's why they buy heroic aura, and you do not buy heroic aura. And all the previously stated reasons. Now Fury Trance, Frenzy. Frenzy, yes, it gives you fire rate, but it costs 6,400. It increases your fire rate, but not the raw stats. It has a condition where the biggest buff or the biggest stats it gives is when you're less than 50% HP. Now, let me tell you, if you're less than 50% HP, you most likely got into a fight. It's probably like closer to late game. You're less than 50% HP. Your HP pool is already small, so you don't have a lot of HP when you're less than 50%, like maybe 1k, right? Or a little bit more than that. And you are essentially, so you are in a fight because you got into a fight, lost HP, and that means that any one of these heroes will press their nukes on you, and you will die. So, and you will loot the biggest amount of stats and the biggest amount of buffs that this item gives right before your death. So why would you buy this item? When you buy an item like this, right, which has only positive upsides for you, and the downside that you have is completely completely negated by your game plan and your gameplay and your play style, and by these heroes which want to save you. You just bought an item to, I don't know, to get buffs right before you die. Interesting. Yes, it gives you spirit resist, but again, you're not interested in resist. You're not a tank. Your effective HP and the way that resist work in different MOBA games. There's like a term called effective HP, and that at some point, and what it TLDR basically means is, at some point, HP is much better to buy than resists, like when you have small amounts of HP. So like because resists really start to shine because it's percentage like damage, and they grow the later the game goes as well. But essentially, because you have low HP pools, resists are not that good on you, and so that's why you don't buy this item, because it gives you the only thing positive it gives you is the fact that it's an orange item and gives you fire rate. Well, let me tell you, this item is an orange item, gives you fire rate and gives you actual good passive, right? Silencer. Silencer is again a debuff item, and debuff items are bought by supportive roles, because you can loot all the positive stats and the positive passives, the positive buffs that this item gives, while not buying it. Because support lands one bullet on an enemy, suddenly an enemy deals 25% less spirit damage to you and to your whole team. Amazing, amazing. And then if they only buy this item supports if they have a good gun, so like Ivy, Bebop, who else? This bitch and Varden. They can buy this item. And be really good. Also, yeah, Vindicta can also buy this item. But they can proc it for you. You don't have to be the one proccing it. And doesn't give you as much DPS as other options. Doesn't let you do your job as effective as these other items. These two items are not bad. They're just not as effective and not as useful to you and to your role and to your objectives and your goals as other alternatives. Okay, Siphon Bullets, and this primarily I see people buying on Haze. Number one, you're not a tank. Your job is to kill mid-boss, and for that you need damage. Because you want to kill it as fast as possible to not give enemies the time to react, or give them less time to react, and just get the mid-boss off as early as possible. You just want to kill mid-boss as fast as possible, and for that you need damage. This does not let you kill mid-boss. This lets you hit heroes better, but you're not meant to be hitting heroes, once again, where I explained previously, right? These are your objectives, these are your goals on these heroes. So yeah, these items just don't help you do your job. That's end of story. What is this called? Enchanters Emblem. Good on 7, right? But I still see people buying this. This still exists because they go like mid, or they maybe go side lane, and they're into two spirit heroes, like I don't know, maybe it's like some pocket and like Infernus or Mina pocket, and they're like, oh, I'm going to buy Enchanter's Emblem, get the spirit resistance, and my life is going to be good. But no, because even though your hero does not go to these lanes, if you are in this lane, this is an aggressive lane which you're going to be trading no matter what, because if you don't trade in this lane, you're just going to lose the lane. You're just going to lose the side lane, and you're going to lose lane. Then they're going to get advantage. They're going to take your farm. Blah blah blah. You're probably going to lose game just from that moment because you want to take Haze into side lane and buy Enchanter's Emblem. But you buy Enchanter's Emblem and you're not going to be looting stats because you're going to be trading on this lane very frequently. You're going to be in combat, so you're not going to be looting the out of combat region either. So useless item. And even if you buy it on mid, useless item because it does not give you DPS, when this item gives you DPS, and this one doesn't. So just don't buy it. On Haze specifically, and even on Brave. Fortitude, again, doesn't let you do your job better. All it gives you is HP, doesn't give you any kind of DPS. But green item once again, so useless. This I just put it here because it's an upgrade from this, and I still see I've had case players who buy this item, I don't know what's going inside their head, what's going inside their brain. I just don't buy this item for the exactly same reasons that I put all these items over here. They just don't let you do your job as efficiently either as these items or whatsoever. Fleetwood, again, it's just a worse item than all of these, even though, yes, it indirectly gives you more ammo because you can slide abuse and abuse ammo that way, but doesn't give you DPS or fire rate, weapon damage, nothing. Gives you bullet resist, and again, you don't want bullet resist. And you get the passive of this item, and all the positive aspects of this item lie in this item that you want to build. So, just useless. And has better alternatives. Now this item is actually a very good item, but just worse at helping you do your job than any of these items. Because if you just think about it, this is an item that gives you max ammo. Now you want max ammo on these heroes. Gives you fire rate, which increases your DPS. Gives you move speed and gives you bullet lifesteal. This is one item that gives you 4 stats or 4 buffs that you really enjoy. So this item is giga strong. But the problem is that these alternatives exist for 1600, right? And out of all of this, all you really are interested in is the fire rate and the max ammo. Now, this gives you more fire rate. This gives you more max ammo. This gives you more fire rate. So, and the move speed, I mean, you're not really interested in move speed when you're hitting jungle. But other than that, move speed is just a good stat in general. So yeah, this item is good and strong, and if you were to take this item, like instead of one of these, like maybe instead of kinetic, I wouldn't like, I don't know, I wouldn't shout at you, right? I wouldn't scream at you, because it's not the worst decision you can make when like this item or this item, not the worst decision you can make. But these items, just know that these are better at doing your job, or help you do your job better. So Hex and Curse, kind of similar again. These items are primarily for initiating fights, and in this game, the heroes that are initiators are in the support role because they have some kind of setup or CC or displacement in their kits, and items that like stop an enemy from being able to run away with movement abilities or movement items, right? Really helps them do their job, which is initiating fights and setting up kills and ganking opponents, right? For you, that's not your job. Your job is to farm. Again, does not give you DPS on any of these here. Does not really give you DPS for 1600. So it doesn't give you tempo, doesn't give you faster farm, bad item. And this item, you, was it 10%? Takes away 10% of your DPS or your just damage overall. So horrible item, don't buy it. These guys are supposed to buy it. Supportive roles are supposed to buy it, not you, because they can pay the price in damage, because for them it's more important to really proc negative effects and make the life of opponents harder and make your life easier. But for you, you want the damage. You cannot afford the damage that this item takes. Spirit Resilience, again, as all these green items. You're not a tank, does not give you DPS because it's a green item for 3200. Just bad item, you're not a tank, you are a core, you're supposed to farm, blah blah blah. This item, again, same as with weak point, your supports can buy it and increase your DPS on a target, just because they bought it and landed they dealt 1 point of spirit damage, and you looted all the bullet resist shred that this item gives, and which is a very nice stat because it helps you farm faster and helps you kill enemies faster, do more damage to them. You loot all the positive buffs of this item by not wasting 1600 money. Amazing. And you bought other better items for that. Science Wave, I still see these heroes buying it. The item is strong, but again, same story. Doesn't help you do your job, doesn't increase your farm speed, your DPS. Is an item that these heroes buy because they're initiating and they're interested in starting a fight and not letting the enemies escape or somehow outplay the situation via Silence Wave. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, ballistic enchantment. Bad item because 3200 and better alternatives. And even on 7, it's bad because you don't really want the AoE. Why would you want the AoE? I don't know. The weapon damage, you don't want weapon damage, you want fire rate from orange items because your DPS all lies in your third button. That's your DPS, and you want to shoot your gun as fast as possible to do more damage with your third spell. You don't want to get weapon damage. You're not interested in it. And please do not buy this on Haze and put it on your ult. Like, it's just funny. It's just hilarious. Just don't do it. Inhibitor, once again, a debuff item which supports with good guns. Can buy, and you can loot all the good things or all the useful things that this item gives. You can get in a team fight or in a fight by these guys buying the item. And you don't have to waste money on it. Hatchet booster, same story as with this. Just costs more money, and much more alternatives exist which are better. Because this item costs 1600, and it's not that bad of an investment. But this costs 400, right? And you have all these better items. You have this item, and even the elephant item. You can even buy the elephant because the 40% weapon damage is actually pretty crazy. But okay, this again I explained. This item is just better for the cost. As an item, it's not bad, and like buying it late when fights and you're going to be joining fights is not bad. I just don't think you're going to get the slot for it. Because it gives you everything you want. It gives you fire rate, right? On something like Haze, you really want it. When you're hitting heroes, and late game you're going to be hitting heroes. But when I see people buy it, just compared to this item, with the job that you want to do early to mid game, this item is just worse than this. But late game, it's okay to buy this item. I allow you to do it. So that's the hard carry core. That's these heroes all solved. You don't buy these items. You buy these items. Why you buy them? You know. Now you know. And before that, I already explained that you go as a hard carry core into the mid lane because AFK farm lane. This lane has a lot of boxes, has a lot of farm for you, and you have access to left side and right side farm. So those are the main reasons as to why you go mid, but more about laning, uniqueness, and reasonings, and just all about laning in a future video, in the part 2 of this kind of series. This Deadlock 101 series. But now, Offlaners. My favorite role and my main role. So Offlaners, as you can see, these heroes go to offlane. And why? Why they're Offlaners? And why they go into a hard lane or easy lane, essentially side lane, the aggressive lane, is because they are strong laners. They are able to fight, and they fight very well. They are good at killing enemies. They are also good at farming because they build damage, and when you build damage, you farm faster, right? And because they build damage, they're good at killing opponents. And they usually have some kind of sustain, and they have strong abilities, and they usually have some kind of sustain in their kit. And having strong abilities already makes you a strong damaging abilities, already makes you a strong laner. But if you have sustain as well, sustain is also very strong in lane. But the reason why heroes like these don't go into side lane because they don't really have strong damaging spells, even though they have sustain. But these guys have strong damage spell, and these guys have the sustain that they need. These guys don't really want sustain. They just want to burst the enemy and kill him, right? They don't want to buy sustain, or they don't want to necessarily have sustain. But these guys just are strong heroes and strong laners because they have both damaging spells and good spells for fights, and they have sustain. They're also specialized in fighting in close quarters. They're able to walk up to the wave and hit and creeps in melee, while these heroes cannot do that. That's why they're weak laners. And they have something I like to call lane agency, or like space agency, because they can aggressively take up space. Like if a Haze somehow enters Veil over here, like a veil is actually is a very strong positional advantage, because also information, right? Because enemies don't see you and you see them, you can shoot at them, they can't really shoot at you accurately. But if Haze gets Veil, Abrams can just, Mr. Abrams can just go right, run at this Haze into Veil, use all his dashes, doesn't matter. He will outtrade her anyway. Even if she deals 200 damage to him, he will heal back with his passive. So, like, Haze cannot hold a Veil, but Abrams in Veil, you never want to jump into a Veil when Abrams is in there. So that's why they have kind of like space agency, and they're able to take space aggressively, and they're able to utilize that space like close quarters combat and abuse the architecture of this close lane and aggressive lane much better than any other hero. And they're just strong heroes in general. Hard to kill, can easily kill you, hard to kill them, they live very long, and you can see it just by the heroes that are in this role, because like Shiv, impossible to kill, right, because of his passive. Infernus runs around and heals infinitely with Infuser. Abrams is just a fat piece of shit with a broken passive. Billy gets fat in a fight because he has his third skill. Silver transforms, gets super tanky and heals from her one. It's in wolf form. Yamato is Yamato. Mina, understandable. Apollo is a little bit different, right? But this whole kind of little description or category inside of Offlaners is a little special, and as you can see, I grouped them and categorized them in a certain way where they have similar game plans or similar gameplay, just based on hero kits. Here, these guys, right? Victor like never dies. This bitch never dies because she either runs away or she has a 500 HP barrier, and then she heals everything from her first skill. Guys has swap, never dies. This guy is just an asshole, which I think he's now, because they've been reworking him so much. They reworked him twice, like in the last 2 weeks, and I think now he's back to being a support. But it's such a problematic hero because it's like Nature's Prophet, because his ult is not or like Rengar top, because his ult is not a fight ult. Like, it doesn't give him damage, it doesn't give him some kind of like Shiv's ult. It's not like Inferno's ult, right, which you can use in a fight and get and be able to like stun an opponent or just kill them, execute them, right? It's just a map traverse tool. And so in order to balance the fact that his ult is not like a damaging ult or a fight ult, they give him very strong basic spells, and that makes him indirectly very strong lane bully and laner. And so it's hard to understand whether he's a support, because he cuts the damage dealt by enemies like by 40%, right, with his first skill. And so it kind of feels like a supportive spell, but he also doesn't have any setup, so he's not really an initiator, but he can like TP on someone. So it's very hard to figure out what the fuck to do with this hero. That's why I hate Mirage. But anyways, yeah, these guys build gun and yada yada yada. So yeah, they're just brawlers. Essentially, they're just brawlers, close quarter brawlers, which live long, deal a lot of damage, like to fight in number disadvantage or in any kind of situation. They like to fight, and they fight very well. So what do you do on these heroes? On these heroes, you are, as I said, mentioned in the beginning, is this role is very similar to top laner from League of Legends. And if anyone's played League of Legends and played top lane, you know that top lane is just like an island. It's isolated from everything happening on the map. They just like live in top lane, they push waves, they just man fight 24/7, and they just split push 24/7. Like, yeah, that's the kind of the gameplay. Like, you spawn into a side lane and you just live in that side lane until 20 minutes. And even at 20 minutes, you still live in the side lane. But essentially, you spawn into a lane and like you go to like green lane or right lane, right? And your lane or your map starts looking like this. All of this just disappears. It just disappears until like some guy from probably mid or some guy from here comes and ganks your lane, and then this part of the map or whatever that enemy came from, that part of the map unlocks for you, just for you to be able to ping your allies, right? But other than that, you're just like top laner from League. You live in the side lane. You are meant to win lane. You want to win lane, and if you don't win lane, well, you still stay side lane. You are meant to shove the waves, keep the waves shoved over here, keep the maximum shoved in, and take enemy farm. You have to take unsafe farm, and you have to make really aggressive decisions. You have to cause pressure on the map so that and create space for your core to farm. You have to force enemies to answer your push, for them to come and gank you as 3 people, use their ultimates, use their buttons on you, and waste their time. Even if you die, it's a good trade for you because you are making space for your core to farm. And you've already stolen their camps. You're stronger, even though you died, doesn't matter. You want to take this camp because it's a neutral camp, take this neutral camp. And you essentially want to steal enemy resources and leave your own resources for your core. But like some things like these camps, right, they belong to you because they're kind of close in proximity in your lane, so that if enemy sends a lot of heroes over here, you understand that you cannot really, if you go here, you will just int and die. So you can kind of chill out, and you've already taken all their camps. Now you can focus on your side of the map and take your camps and not lose tempo. And once these guys already get bored of sitting here, they go away, and some other bullshit happens in the map, or on the other side of the map, you go back to your gameplay of stealing their shit and causing pressure. You are like a big-sized, I don't know, just annoyance, big pain in the ass for the enemies. And you want to let yourself be known, and you also want to show on the map, and basically just cause pressure, create space for your core. But you do not want to run around and initiate fights on these heroes, because the guys who initiate fights are these guys. Because they have the tools in their kits, and they buy items which help them. That's their job. Right? They have tools in their kits and abilities which help them set up fights. You do not have that. You have abilities which help you fight, but not abilities which help you start fights. Make sense? So yeah, now that we know the goals and the game plan for these heroes, what do you guys buy? So there's 3 ways you could build. There's you either build gun, or you build melee. You're a melee hero, or you're a spirit hero. Different damage values in this game, right? Now, even this guy who builds gun will still buy this, because this is like just the most effective way for him to sustain while he's clearing jungle, while he's just existing solo in the side lane. This is just the best at giving him damage and giving him sustain. But Viper builds these 2 items because she cannot build neither this or neither this. And she has such a good gun and a lot of DPS that these 2 items, which give her, this gives life steal, this gives life steal, is enough to sustain her gameplay, like her offlaner gameplay. But anyways, what items? So for melee, you buy these items because this lets you sustain, and this is also for spirit heroes because you want to first buy a sustain item which will give you damage, because if you're a melee hero, this gives you melee percent damage, like 16%, I believe, and this is a spirit invest which gives you spirit damage, and also is a sustain item. Perfect for you, and because for what you can do, because you want to exist here for as long as possible. You really don't want to go to base or be somewhere else where these guys exist, unless these guys come with these guys, right, to your lane and start to fight and heal you. Only then will you be able to get heal from your teammates. Otherwise, you're just living alone, sad, lonely life, and you need something to help with the pain, right? Now for melees, all these items because you're a melee hero. And why you don't buy this item, even though it's a melee item, on a physical melee character? Because there is spirit physical character or spirit melee characters like Kalika and Yamato, which buy this item. And they don't buy this item or this item, because on like physical melee characters, you want to increase your physical damage. You want orange invest, and usually these heroes have bad spirit scalings, or like useless spirit scalings, like Silver has bad spirit scalings, Billy has bad series or like useless spirit scalings, Abrams as well. Like they are much more interested in, like Abrams is much more interested in getting damage for his heavy melee that is guaranteed on when he clicks his shoulder bash, right? And also Billy has a crazy gun and has his kit, it just works around him shooting his gun and increasing his gun damage or weapon damage. And so orange items and getting items which increase your gun damage weapon damage is much better on these heroes than this item. But yeah, Fleet Foot gives you resistances, gives you move speed, and most of these heroes are pretty slow and sluggish because they're kind of brawlers. Especially Abrams, very slow, very sluggish hero. Also lets you cancel out your melee. So just buffs, just good stats and good, just good stats from an item. You get good positive buffs from it. Because resists, you want resists, and you don't want to just buy these kind of resists because you want to buy items which give you both resist and damage. And this item gives you resist, gives you damage because it's an orange item, gives you move speed for chasing enemies, right? Because you're sluggish heroes. Also lets you on melee heroes, lets you cancel out your melee, which is very nice. All of these heroes are close quarters, like they fight very well in close quarters, and so if you're a physical hero, especially like Billy, Abrams, this looting, you get this item which slows the enemies, so it's harder for them to run away from you when you jump into them. Gives you crazy 50% weapon damage. Also gives you HP. Amazing item. Also, yeah, increases your melee damage, right? The damage of your melees, so perfect. This gives you crazy damage, again gives you slow, and gives you debuff resist, and you want debuff resist because you're gonna be getting hit with these debuffs, with these debuffs, because you're gonna be ganked, because you're in the side lane alone, lonely, and just these heroes are just all they're looking for in the game is to just jump on you because you're alone. And debuff resist will help those debuffs last less. This item again, but I would honestly say I think this item is pretty bad. Nowadays it was because you just have better items, and for its cost it doesn't really give that many buffs or buffs that are really good for you. It indirectly nerfs or indirectly counters heroes that want to shoot gun, right? Like these guys, this guy, and these heroes, because lessens their fire rate. And in 1v1 situation, which you will find yourself a lot in side lane, this will help you counter these heroes while also increasing your damage to them, and increases your damage to creeps, to jungles, because it shreds the resist, right? So increases your harm speed. But other than that, yeah, just a great item, gives you good stats. This upgrade from this gives you bullet resist, shreds, lets you reload, and lets even these heroes, if you only have one of these guys, take a mid boss pretty easily. Amazing item. And because you're melee, you would want to get a melee item which stuns, shreds the resists. Like Abrams really wants this item, even Billy wants this item, even Silver wants this item, just a little bit later. Another item which gives you resists, gives you damage, right? And you're gonna be taking damage a lot on these heroes. So you're gonna be looting 70% weapon damage, which is crazy number. It's nearly this with no downside, and the only upside, and with only upsides because you get resist as well, bullet resist. Amazing item. Frenzy. Now this is an item because it is an aggressive orange item which gives you resist. You want on these heroes to get items that give you both damage and resist, and this item does that. And you're going to find on these heroes that you have good health, on physical heroes, right? Like melee heroes, you're gonna find that you have very good health scalings, and so your 50% HP is going to be like 80% HP for haste, maybe even 100% of your HP, right? So you're gonna be really tanky, looting this, and very hard to kill when you're less than 50% HP, while also getting super good buffs like fire rate and move speed. And you have pretty big problem with move speed on these heroes because you're all sluggish, tanky, brawler type of heroes. Colossus, another because you're melee, it gives you resists, while also gives you 30% melee damage, which is very good damage numbers for a green item, which just makes you giga tanky, slows people close to you, and you're going to be close to enemies a lot because that's where you want to deal your damage. That's where you want to be on like Silver, on Billy, on Abrams. You want to be close to enemy heroes. That's where you just completely rip them apart and kill them. And also this item can cancel out your melee, so you can fake your melee. Just another bonus, but not the sole reason why you buy this item, obviously. Return Fire. Great item on these heroes because they don't really want to buy like spirit heroes can buy this item and like something like counter spell or another 32k item or 3.2k item and get 4.8k health invest. You don't really have a 1600 item which you can buy to close 4.8k invest. Like you buy this item and then you want a 1.6k item to close 4.8k invest, and this item is just great for that purpose. Debuff remover, right? Debuff remover, dispel magic. I'm so sorry. Dispel magic gives you resists, gives you a good active because you're gonna be getting hit by debuffs because you're gonna be ganked a lot, right? You're gonna be hitting by this, and when you get hit by this, you're not healing, and your life is very difficult for you in a fight. So this lets you dispel it. So amazing item, especially encounters other offlaners such as Infernus, Mirage, Mina, very good, and even Viper, right? Very good versus them. Like very great item for your heroes. And yes, another point to make is that you like these guys because they're just so strong at fighting and they're just such strong heroes by like generally just by how their kit works and how their kit is what it's comprised of, that they can only get countered or be able to like they can only be contested by other offlaners or other people of the same like strength level, right? Because these guys cannot contest any one of these heroes. These guys cannot contest any one of these heroes. These guys obviously cannot contest anyone. Like Abrams try to contest as Dynamo contest Abrams. Abrams will just eat you alive. But back to the items. Debuff Remover, good item. Phantom Strike. You want to get close to opponents, and this is an item which indirectly gives you some kind of like resist because it puts on a debuff of a disarming debuff, which stops these heroes from shooting you and like these heroes from shooting you, these heroes from shooting you, while also getting you close to them where you can rip them apart. So amazing item, and it's pretty hard for you on these heroes to get close to the enemies unless they're stupid, and this lets you do that. Amazing item. BKB, amazing item on melee heroes and even on spirit heroes, just because it makes your life easier, because you will not get CC'd in a fight. And you could just go ham and go crazy, and you could just spam melees as well under unstoppable buff and not be afraid of parry. Later there are more. Amazing item, much better than blah blah blah. Much better than whatever like this armor item. This especially because people for some reason really like to buy toxic bullets on fucking everyone, and this item will completely destroy especially heroes like these, Viper, Haze, and someone else like Graves, right? Completely destroy their heroes. So please buy this item. This is an amazing item. Metal Skin, just much better than bullet resilience. So buy this instead of this. Just forget about this item. This item is bad. Unless the enemy just like complete psychopaths and they have like 6 curses, maybe then you can think about buying this or selling this item in order to buy this. Restorative, amazing item for in lane. You're going to be buying this as your first item on every single one of these heroes and every single one of these heroes as well. Because in your lane you want to get damage to out-trade your opponents, and you want to get regen because it helps you trade and helps you just sustain yourself in lane. Like just pretty self-explanatory. And this item gives you everything. Gives you weapon damage, so gives you more damage in trades, and gives you regen. Just amazing item. The best item in lane that you can get on these heroes, and just probably the best laning item in game in general. So for spirit heroes, the same thing applies. You get regen because you want sustain. It gives you damage and gives you sustain. Amazing item. Please buy it on every hero. Every spirit hero, like Infernus, Shiv, Yamato, Mina, Apollo. Probably not Kalika. Kalika can probably buy this, but Kalika is just weird and awkward, annoying. But guys, try to probably buy it on this guy if he's from Offlaner. It's just weird. Oh, I think wait, actually, because it deals. Oh yeah, wait, this guy, no, this guy's an offlaner. He's not even. Don't even think about putting him in support. He's an offlaner because he can buy this item now, and he has damage over time. Yep, this guy's an offlaner. Congratulations. Victor probably not. He probably skipped this item, and because he wants to go to right lane and completely just not lane and just hit creeps, he cannot really abuse the active passive of this. So we go buy on this. But Celeste, amazing item, right? And these guys are just not spirit. But yeah, all spirit heroes, buy this item, please. Very good. This gives you DPS and gives you resist. Amazing. Ability to this, which gives you even more DPS and even more resist. And again, you don't want to waste your money on purely resist. You want to get 2 for 1, like 2 for 1 extra sale, 50% off. You want to get more value. Cold Front, you're gonna be in melee range. All of these heroes are going to be in melee range. Even Mina, you're going to be getting melee range because you want to rake enemies, right? And this gives you again damage, resist, and slows enemies, so it'll be harder for them to run away, easier for you to hit them. So amazing item, grades into this item, which gives you more resist, and even better, gives you some kind of CC, which helps you versus things like this, things like other mobile bullshit, things like Viper. Just amazing item, and increases your DPS and your burst kind of combo. Counterspell, Remover, and Metal Skin. Amazing 3 items. This actually makes sense on you because, again, you're going to be ganked a lot. These guys are going to be pressing their buttons, and this helps you live longer and like completely negate something like Mina's burst, Lash's burst, Pocket's burst, Kalika's burst. Completely lets you counter them. And you, because you're a spirit hero, you get buffs, and you're also, even on these heroes, even though you're a spirit, you are pretty sluggish. Unless you're Celeste. Celeste is just Thanos, Hitler champ. But you will make use of the move speed, you will make use of the spirit that you get, you like HP, and you like the spirit power that it gives, and the heal. Just amazing item overall on spirit heroes, on spirit Offlaners. Remover, same story as over here, but even bigger because you actually buy regen, because melee heroes kind of have more inbuilt regen into their kits, like Abrams with his passive, Billy not really life steal or kind of regen, it's his third spell, kind of has a unique way of working, and Silver with her resets on her ult, right? They have just bigger levels of sustain built into their kits. You have a lot of damage on spirit heroes, and that's why you buy Infuser, and you get sustained based on your damage, right? So that's why this item is much more important, is like very important on you, because if you get hit by this, your game or your team fight is over, like you're completely shut down. So you want something to remove it, and you're also going to be getting hit by things like this, and this, and you want to be able to remove them. And Metal Skin, just again, better than this. Same things applies. Complete invulnerability from bullets for 5 seconds is mega OP. This is understandable. This is just built in Infuser. Infuser is your core item because lets you survive in team fights and gives you damage, gives you spirit resist, gives you and gives you 80% spell life seal. Amazing, super just giga item. And this lets you get 4.8k invest pretty easily, and also upgrades into Infuser. Self-explanatory. Ethereal. So these heroes have very strong buttons. Their buttons have a lot of damage, right? Or just very strong basic abilities. And items such as like Ethereal and Metal Skin, things that let you like live longer, because this lets you live for 5 seconds because you're invulnerable to bullets for 5 seconds, versus bullet damage lets you live for 5 seconds, you just prolong your life. And this lets you live for 5 seconds or like 6 seconds versus anything, right? And how you have to think about it, like on something like Shiv, if you buy this and you buy Ethereal, you live for like 9 seconds extra. That's 9 seconds where your cooldowns are coming back up, your passive is coming back up, your 2 is coming back up, and you can spam it more, right? And because your abilities are so strong, like you want things which will let you survive in order to get them back. or in order to survive during their downtime and their cooldown time. And you buy a lot of active items, so cooldown, and again, your spells and your buttons are very strong, so being able to get them up more often is always good for you. And you buy a lot of items, active items, like see active item here, active item here, active item here, active item here, active item here. But this item kind of gets indirectly replaced with Ethereal, and this item gets replaced with BKB. Why do I not have BKB here, by the way? Bum. Yeah, and so, or gets replaced with Stridebreaker. Again, why don't I have this item? Some kind of unprofessional, but this, right? But on these heroes, I just believe that this is better for in terms of spell, like spirit resist. But anyways, so yeah, this gets like replaced with this and always. But you're always going to be having 4 active items on these heroes, on spirit heroes, spirit offliners. So this amazing increases your damage, gives you lifesteal on something like Shiv 2. You put this, gives you lifesteal, gives you more damage, and you're going to be spamming your 2 all the time in the fight, dashing here and there. Amazing item. Scourge, same thing, gives you damage, AoE, while giving you nice stats, but while giving you 40% resist, right? Damage, resist, all is amazing. But potentially, maybe this is an item which is bought on these heroes, probably because your teammate can put this on you, right? So you don't really have to waste on it. But it's not really a problem because you get cooldown reduction and get HP as stats. So, and it's a good like active item for you when you're gonna be buying this, right? You're gonna be having a lot of money because you're a core role. So it's not the worst, and it's good and logical. Witch Mail. On Spirit Heroes, because you're going to be buying Infuser, your buttons are very strong, your life steal and the amount of your sustain is in the damage that you get and in the item, the way you itemize that you get a lot of sustain. And what this item gives you is the ability, it indirectly gives you damage because it gives you cooldown on your abilities, which are very strong, and in turn, and you itemize in such a way where you will get all the sustain. And the way that you get this DPS, right? I went a little off course, but you get this DPS and the cooldown. You have to pay your HP as the cost. So it uses your HP as a resource to get more damage. And because you itemize in such a way where you build a lot of sustain, you are able to abuse or use this item effectively. But not only you, it's the most logical on you because your buttons are very strong and blah blah blah. But it's also, I can see a world where it's built on something like something with maximum HP healing, like Dynamo, maybe Maginis, right? Because they also have a way of sustaining because they just heal max percent HP heal, and they're able to just sustain themselves that way. But Yamato is perfect for this item because she has max percent HP heal, right? On her 3. Just amazing item. Restore shot, understandable. This is basically a spirit item just disguised as a orange item, right? Because it gives you everything you want. It gives you life steal, so sustain. It shreds there is enemies resist, which gives you more damage, deals more damage, makes them easier for you to kill. So amazing item, while also giving you a 4.8k damage invest. Amazing item, great item. Spirit Snatch, again, for spirit melee spirit heroes. You get this because great buffs, it gives you crazy stats. Unstoppable replaces this, amazing, makes your life just easier. And this is just please buy this item if you're afraid of spirit, but you should not really buy spirit resist because you have a lot of spirit resist already built in the items that you get. Here 10%, 17% here, 10% here, 30% over here, even 20% over here, right? 40% over here. Like, you have spirit resist already in the items that you buy. And with bullet items, well, you can either keep metal skin or just don't get hit, bro. But yeah, but if you're gonna be buying a resist, because they have like full spirit team, right? Don't buy this item, buy this item instead. It is much better. Because an item such as Tank Buster exists in this game and makes this item obsolete. These are the items for Viper, these are sustain options, and then she just builds gun, right? Pretty self-explanatory. But now, what items do you not buy on Offlaners? Egg, for the same reason as why these guys don't, but even times 2, because you need damage to trade, to push wave, to farm, to steal farm. This item, you never, under any circumstances, buy it on these heroes. And these as well, because they both of these roles and both of these heroes, they all reside in the side lane, which is an aggressive lane, where you're gonna be trading, fighting, killing, dying, right? And if you're gonna lose damage, then you're gonna be more dying and not doing a lot of killing. So just bad item. Never buy this. Now this item. Why it's bad is because this doesn't give you. So number one, it's a support item, which doesn't grade into any item that you want. It grades into these two items, and these two items, this item, these guys can buy, but these two items only these heroes want. You don't want any of those items, so it's an item that you buy for 800, which you then sell. Gives you a heal, like 350, I believe, right? In 20 seconds or something. But the problem is with this, is by buying this item, you completely surrender yourself, or you completely surrender your wave priority, because you get healing from healing, right? And then for 20 seconds you cannot walk up to the wave because enemies are at the wave, and they're going to cancel your healing, right? And then you're going to be with a useless item in lane. And when you give up your wave prio and completely give up a wave push, the enemies get an advantage on you. They're able to secure a better position for themselves, and on next wave, they're able to go hit the boxes earlier. They're able to take your camps, able to basically make proactive decisions while you're left with this item and staying under turret, trying to kill all the creeps. And try to not get too behind when the enemies are playing proper deadlock and winning the game. Right? Just this item is bad when this item exists, and the tier 1 for this item exists, and the tier 1 for this item is like melee lifesteal and misc regeneration, because these items will give you sustain, while not letting you or not forcing you to give up your wave, or we give up wave push and wave priority. Because you can fight while trading or sustain while trading. So bad item, don't buy it. This is much better than this item, but the problem is that it's a green item, which is red flag. I remind you, when it comes to laning phase, especially on side lane, when an aggressive lane where you're supposed to out-trade your opponent. So what helps you out-trade your opponent in lane is out-damaging them, right? What this item gives. Now this item can help you out-trade your opponent, because you will have more sustain. You'll have sustain, and maybe they won't have sustain, and you could out-resource manage them, right? Or just beat them in this war of attrition. But the problem is, it's a green item, which doesn't give you damage. This is an item that gives you regen, and this is an item which is a purple item on Spirit Heroes, which gives you damage. It gives you damage, so it helps you trades. This item gives you regen and gives you orange weapon damage, which helps you push wave. While this item gives you regen, which is very cool, right? It will help you in trades somewhat, but doesn't give you damage, so it will not help you out-trade your opponent. It will not help you push out wave. So it's just bad. Green items are, in a sense, just bad in lane. Way worse than orange items or purple items. Okay, rebuttal. Let's just agree that a rebuttal is a trash item and you never buy this item. It needs to get removed from the game or reworked or something. Something needs to happen. But this item is just bad and never buy this. Battle Best and Enchanter's Emblem. Again, remember when I talked about this over here? It has a condition. Like, the stats are kind of what you want, because you think about it, that this item gives you weapon damage and gives you fire rate, so it gives you aggressive stats while being a green item, so it makes you tankier and gives you resist. it's kind of perfect in a way, right? Except out combat region when you're going to be in combat a lot on these heroes, but doesn't matter. The problem is that in this lane, in aggressive lane where you're going to be trading a lot, you're not going to be above 65% HP. And that is, let me remind you, that's the condition for them, for these items to get like more than half of their value, or the most of their value is in that conditional like stats that it gives. And so you bought an item, you traded once, you're less than 60% HP, and now you have less than half an item. Why? I don't know, right? So just don't buy this item, and it's kind of the similar. Just don't buy this item, okay? Just don't buy this item. Now these resiliences. I explained it over here, right? This item, metal skin, is just better than this item, and this item on these heroes have this item which gives them damage and same amount of spirit resist, even just a better item, and different other positive buffs or useful buffs for them. And these guys just have a lot of spirit resist in the items that they buy, which give them damage. So just useless. Don't buy these items. There are some scenarios like Mr. Victor can buy it. I think he can even buy this item because Victor is very interesting hero. Because all he wants to do is just jump on you and then stick to you and live for as long as possible, because just by existing he will deal damage and kill you. So he has this interesting kind of conundrum, right, where he can buy a green item or an item which helps him survive longer and increases DPS. Just because of that's how he works. Most, like all of these kind of work in a similar way, but it's just much more evident in Victor and much stronger in Victor. So he can kind of buy these items, but generally you don't want to buy this item. Monster rounds and cultist, again, these items are strictly for core heroes. You might think, but Mr. Rafael, Mr. Cafe, I am supposed to play aggressively on these heroes and steal enemy farm. And this item will help me steal their farm faster. That is true, and that is a correct way of thinking, but what lets you farm faster as well is buying damage. But what damage also gives you, it not only does give you farm speed, it gives you the ability to kill the opponents, right? And just able to fight more efficient and more effectively. You're able to fight with enemies. So you could buy damage and solve two problems, or solve two problems at once, or get two positive buffs at once, or you could buy this one item and get only half value from like a damage item, right? And plus, talking about buffs that it gives, like stats, in terms of stats, useless stats you don't really want. Like, yeah, HP damage AoE, you think so, but then those stats like are down for like 2 minutes. And so you don't have an item for 2 minutes. Congratulations. Why did you buy this item? Maybe buy a normal item instead. A normal damage item, which will help you farm and help you kill enemies and help you do everything. And they will synergize with your aggressive gameplay. This suppressor is a support item because it's a debuff item. So your supports in lane can buy it, or these guys can buy it, right? And just proc the debuff on the enemies, and you don't have to waste your money on this item. These two, I see this on Apollo, I see this on Shiv, I even see this on Shiv, and I see this on Infernos. These are not bad items. I mean, this is a bad item, horrible item on something like Apollo and Shiv, because you don't need, believe me, you don't need ability range on Shiv. And the crazy resist that it gives, like 10% or 8%, right? Bullet or speed resist. I don't really remember, but it's useless. This item is much more useful on these heroes because they have usually strong AoE buttons, which they're going to be, because they're looking for fights and they're initiating fights, and them being able to click their strong buttons, strong ultimates onto more heroes is beneficial for them. For you, you don't need the range on something like Shiv, because as Shiv you just want to get into a tight corridor where enemies are like they have to position at only one point of entry, and then if they come in, you just dash to that point of entry and then use your stamina to dash back in, or like something. A good example of this is like this little corridor over here where there's like little bridge, right, and there's boxes on the second floor, but then underneath that bridge, there's like this little corridor. You can jump into here. If enemies come and gank you over here, you jump over here, and they either have to follow you into this corridor where you will just dash through 3 enemies, and then because your 2 is maxed out on Shiv, that's how you build him, you're going to be able to dash in the next 2 seconds and just keep on shredding them, and you get rage, and with rage there's 2 dashes and they're like giga shredded, and already at that point they have to run away from that tight corridor. So you don't need range in that scenario. Range is really good for open spaces to cover even more space, but in close quarter scenarios where these guys are specializing in, where they want to reside and where they want to fight, that is beneficiary environment for them to fight in. Range plays no role. Acceleration or something like Infernus, it's not a bad idea, right? But because he has a lot of dots, right? He has his 2, which is a dot, and his 3, which is a dot. It's just amazing. But the reason is why you don't buy this is because it costs 3200, and there are other better options for you. And also the gameplay is not really on Infernus to burn an enemy, right? And just to see them burn for a little bit longer with this item. What you have to do on Infernus is burn an enemy, and then you have to run at him. You have to run at him and force him to run away, push him out of a lane, or just kill him with ult, right? You don't want for them to burn longer and to be like, how annoying is Infernus with toxic bullets, who just proc toxic bullets on me, right? And his 3, he's after burn, and I'm burning for very long. It's very annoying, because what Infernus wants to do is when he burns you, he wants to kill you, or at least attempted to kill you. He doesn't want to just for you to burn and get toxic bullets debuff and make your life difficult. He wants to make your life difficult not with debuffs, but with the fact that you die by killing you. That's how he wants to make your life difficult. So that's why these items are just not as efficient. This is just useless, but this is just not as efficient on the heroes that I see people buy them on. This another debuff item, which is more useful. A debuff item which is a support item, right? You can loot the healing reduction that you want to buy by calling by supports, buying this item, and then playing with you and clicking 1 spirit spell and shredding or like reducing the heal of the enemies that you're fighting by 35%. Without you as a core role wasting your money and a slot for this item. Healing booster. So, trying to prove that this item is bad on these heroes. Number 1, it's not necessarily bad. It's just when people buy this in lane. And again, buying a green item in lane is pretty bad. And number 2 is because it builds out of this item, and buying this item in lane again is very bad, because there are other items which are better. Tier 1 over here, resto shot, tier 1 over here, and resto shot, right? So, and this is just upgrade from this. Yes, you buy a lot of sustain even on these heroes, and so having just more sustain, like more lifesteal, having higher healing from Radiant is always nice, but nice doesn't mean good, and nice doesn't mean effective. What is effective and what is really nice for you is damage. Because again, this will increase your healing, right? But for 1600, you could have bought more damage, and because you have lifesteal, and lifesteal is like in percentage, it depends on the damage you deal. You will deal more damage, and so you will heal more, and you will do the same thing that this item does, but you just got more damage, which is useful on you because it helps you farm faster, kill enemies, blah blah blah, etc etc. So that's why this is just not an effective item compared to other options for these heroes. Echo Shard, specifically on Mr. Abrams, which I see 6400 on a hero which has bad spirit scalings. And for 6400, he could have bought so much. He could have bought these 2 items and just basically one-shot people with 1 heavy melee. Right? Instead of, and you would say that, well, with Echo Shard he has 2 stuns, and the fact that now like 2 heavy melees in a way, right? With 2 stuns, 2 shoulder bashers, and so that means like double the damage, and so he could have the same amount of damage with these items, just by having 2 melees instead of 1. But like this would deal this like the same amount of damage with 1 melee, but then your gun would also deal like a shit ton of more damage instead of buying this. Right, and what you want to do on Abrams is just shoulder bash 1, use a heavy melee, take away 50% of HP from the enemy, and then hold them 1 and just kill them. Run at them and kill them. You don't want to stun them twice, deal a certain amount of damage, and set up a kill. Because it's just not your job. Your job is to, if you get close enough to someone to shoulder bash them, you want that person to die. That person is supposed to die, or supposed to lose a lot of HP for it. This will not guarantee you a kill if you get close to someone to shoulder bash them. Okay, Science Wave. Again, you don't buy this. This is an item for your supports. Debuff item. Doesn't help you farm, etc., etc. Also takes up an active slot, which you want to buy active slots, which will help you live longer in fights and help you just live longer and do more damage. These items are great at doing that. This does not help you live longer, deal more damage, maybe a little bit of extra 100 damage that this item deals, right? But just shit item compared to all this. Decay on Mr. Shiv, which I see takes up an active slot. It's nice to kind of get some kind of free, I don't know, free rage, right? You just click on this on some enemy and then now you're a happy Shiv with half rage already built up, but or lets you just click on someone and save your already built up rage. But the problem with this, because you could do the same thing by just throwing a knife at someone, right? But it takes up an active slot, which is very bad, because you want active slots to be filled up with things that helps you live longer, and not this trash, which just helps you build up rage. And again, it's a debuff item, which these guys can buy, these guys can buy, right? You don't need to buy it. Boundless Spirit. This is an item that you're going to get late game on Spirit Heroes, but you're not going to get it as a first tier 4. Because all it gives you is raw stats. And it gives you like what? 30 spirit power and a percentage of the, like, plus 15% of your whole spirit power, or spirit power, yeah, right. While compared to something like this item, which costs the same amount of money, and even kind of costs less because you buy this item all the time, and this kind of costs 4.8k, right? That's like micro moment. But this, let's just say, it costs the same amount of money, and it gives you 30 spirit power, 80% spell life steal, which essentially in late game means you get a second life bar or even 3 life bars, right? And now compared to something where you just bet, oh, I just bought 35 extra ability power or spirit power. Well, I think anyone with half a brain would understand that this item is 10 times stronger than this. So you buy this in a hyper late game, but not as first or second or even third big item, tier 4 item. Barriers. Barriers, I see people buying all 3 barriers in lane. The reason, number 1, they are green items, which you don't understand the psychology, because it's also, there is a logic, because you will buy one of these barriers, and since you're like, but I trade, and these barriers will help me trade, and I'm an aggressive lane where I'm going to be trading a lot. That is the correct thought process, but again, what also helps you trade is orange items, aggressive items, damaging items, purple items for spirit heroes, orange items for melee characters or these characters, right? That will help you trade better. A green item does, and these items will help you push wave, help you in trades, which these items but this will also help you push wave faster, and this will help you also push wave faster, or just deal more damage with your buttons. So what this why these are just not as efficient in lane, and green items are either just way worse than these items in lane, and you should not buy them. Warpstone, necessarily not a bad item on something like Victor, and I can even see a situation where Mr. Shiv wants to buy it, because Shiv has a uniqueness with his dash, right, where he can get more value out of it dependent on his position in like a fight. But the timing when you can buy this and when this is useful, because late game the dash is not really that useful, and early to mid is nice to have like potential to dash to like a close quarters, right, and try to fight from a advantageous position for you, or escape from enemies, or read like get a better positioning for your dash to like slide through three people like this, instead of like when they're like this and you slide like this, you could like dash here and then slide through all three. But it takes up an active slot, which is bad. Doesn't really give you all stats, and let me tell you, 11 meters of a blink is funny. It's laughable. It's like nothing. So yeah, active slot not really that good, but on Victor it's pretty good because he just wants to get close to you, and that's it, and stick to you. And this item helps him do it. It also gives him resistances, which helps him live longer. And the longer he lives, the faster, like the more damage he deals to you, and you die, right? So you can just buy this item and a warp stone, and he's chilling. So yeah, but otherwise, pretty bad item. Not really that good. See Auron's build it. I see Shift's player build. I see it. Inferno's players build it. God forbid Inferno's players build it. Just don't buy this item. Just less efficient. Not a bad item, but less efficient than other options that you can get, while also restricting your active abilities or your active item slots. This already explained it. This is an item that you build only on these heroes, and it's bad. When I was talking about this, I explained about this. We understand, don't buy this. Toxic bullets are a good item, and I would say it's like very annoying to deal with when Mr. Drifter buys it, or Infernus buys it, or Mina buys it. It's very, or like Mirage, right? It's very hard to fight into toxic bullets because there is a very strong item, because bleed has an effect on heroes who have a lot of health growth, and so they have a high HP boost, and there's a percentage HP damage, right? It's very annoying to deal with. But what I will tell you is that this item doesn't help you farm faster. It helps you hit enemies faster, and it's an orange item which increases your weapon damage. So it gives you damage and lets you fight better, but it doesn't let you steal opponent farm faster, which is why it's not as efficient as or as effective as other items. And also, it's a debuff item, which, as we already know, debuff items are built by support roles. So these guys with good guns can buy it, right? Even this can buy this item, right? And toxic bullets do not stack on one opponent, unfortunately, right? So only having your support with this item, you will get you will not be dealing the damage, right? So in the scoreboard after the game is done, you will not get that super cool damage or like high damage numbers, but in the scoreboard you will have a victory screen, right? Because you bought normal items and didn't buy this dog shit and won your team the game. Because you caused pressure and you could live very long because you bought this item, or this item instead of this. And caused pressure, created space for your core, which then got items, killed mid-boss, and ended the game. So yeah, you might think, but all you did was buy toxic bullets, but that is how the snowball in the mobile game could go. Just because you made the one wrong decision with itemization. This item is bad. I see it built over here, I see it built over here, I see it built over here. Even on Victor, I see it built. On Geist, I see it being built. Same story as over here. Debuff item, right? Which can be bought by supports. And the stats that it gives you is ability range. Now, you do not want ability range on practically any hero over here. Like, it would be nice, but you don't want to invest and waste your mind. Like, if you got ability range just for free, you'd be like, well, why not? It's because it's free shit. But wasting 6.4k gold souls, sorry, when these items exist, you do not want that. And also, yeah, support debuff item, which supports can buy, can proc for you, and get the 70% healing reduction in a fight. You don't need to buy this. Spirit Snatch, I only put it here because Spirit melee heroes like this and Calico, they build it, but melee characters don't build it because they are interested in getting orange invest and getting weapon damage items. to make their melee stronger and to make their guns stronger, because usually, like with Billy, his gun's very strong. You have no reason to buy this because you don't have spirit damage and you don't have spirit in like spirit scalings, or good spirit scalings. There's like no reason for you to buy this item. It just takes up a slot, and this item or this item would be much better than this. Oh, okay. So that was everything to do with offlaners, and I'm a little bit tired already. But we keep going, and I should really pick up the pace. So supports. Supports in this game are your initiators, and that's because they have in their kits, they have some kind of CC, some kind of displacement, some kind of hook, some kind of setup, which helps in creating, in ganking opponents, setting up kills, in initiating fights and creating chaos, or just creating a fight, right? Starting a fight. They have the tools in in their buttons to do that. And what some common characteristics and like shareable characteristics that they have, like they have nukes, they have bombs, they have nukes, right? They have strong burst damage, right? And obviously CC setup, like slow here, displacement here, lasso, hook, swap, stun, like CC will set up with ult, set up with jail, set up with horny jail, and set up with ult. So yeah, and what these guys want to do is essentially they want to find maps, they want to be on the map constantly after laning phase, because lane they want to kind of win, and even if they don't win, they would probably still have to go around and be present on the map. So they win lane, kill this tower, and then they usually leave their like offlaner buys one of these items, they can already live an independent life, and then the support goes into other lanes and goes in ganks, setups, kills in the other parts of the map, and creates pressure on other parts of the map, because you already guys won lane, your one offlaner is enough to create pressure, the same as like two opponents on the enemy side. And you still come back to lane, right? When you can set up with your offlaner, with your duo, set up a kill in this lane so that you can get a kill, and then you can pressure the walker, maybe take the walker, or just pressure it and cause people to answer the push, and create space for your core. But yes, you on these guys just want to be on the map, initiate fights, set up picks, invade enemy jungle, and help your team invade enemy jungle, defend your jungle. You're basically always present on the map, and that's what you want to be doing. You don't want to be stationary on these heroes, and you buy items that help you do that. Now, what items do you actually buy? Healbane, because again you're a support, and you're gonna be setting up kills, and healing could fuck up your plan to make up a kill, or could stop you from killing an enemy when he just heals, right? More. Also gets you nice heal after you actually make a kill, and lets you in the earlier side of stages of the game, lets you kind of sustain yourself between your map traversal or your when you like run around the map, right? Setting up stuff, setting up kills. So good item for you, amazing for you. Stamina mastery, you're gonna be running around the map. This lets you run around the map faster and more often, because it gives you stamina regen, gives you 2 aerial options, right? Amazing item, buy it on these heroes. Lash, this, probably not this, because this guy ganks with his ult and she kind of has flight to gank. So, but on like mobile, usually most like this, right? You want this item. Veil Walker is for heroes that want like the move speed, and who just want to kind of run at you and get close to you. So it's like Krill, it's policeman, Veil Walker, who else? Maybe Bebop, even, right? Because I don't think it's that good with, because he's bucket 3, I believe, so he's not that good with stamina mastery. So he can get Veil Walker, just run up to someone, hit knockdown, hook them, pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, also gives you invis, and invis is very strong the later it goes, because you're able to gather information. Because late game, there's less camps, there's less ways to gather information, because waves die much faster, right? There's less camps on the map because again you're getting taken at light speed, and so there's less ways to like find an opponent. And with invis you can just go into Veil, get Veil, run to enemy jungle, scout it a little bit, and then run away. If you see no one, you run away. Like, okay, there's no one here. They must be somewhere here or somewhere here. Just not over here, right? And this lets you scout. And scouting, and if you scout and you see someone, you have the tools to set it up, or like you're running in front of the team, and then the team runs after you after you've set up, like you have CC, or you lasso them, or you swap them, or you hold them in place, right? You jail them, hold them in place here. So this item is very good. Slowing Hex, again, you're going to be initiating, setting up picks, ganking opponents, and this helps them not run away, so helps you make the kills and helps you do your job better. Good, great item, grades into this, which is even better item because you have usually have a lot of AoE spells, and being able to clump up opponents to hit more with your AoE spells, just very nice. And AoE Slowing Hex, even better, right? Again, I talked about it over here in this section, right? But you're going to be buying a lot of active items which make the life of enemies harder, and making them last longer, like making this last longer, or this last longer, or the microstun last longer, is very good. And this is because, again, you have strong spells, being able to hit more enemies in open spaces where you're going to be probably starting fights, is good for you, and you're also able to throw active items further, so just amazing. And gives you some kind of resists, right? Because still you're going to be fighting a lot, and resists are not really that bad when you're fighting. Who would have thought? These items, again, making life... this item must have on basically any of these heroes, I think. Even these heroes, because you are the initiator, you are the setup, you are ganking opponents, and I don't know how you're meant to catch them without this micro stun, because they could jump away, and if they try to jump away, you put this on them, and then they just fall down to the ground, and then you eat them here, or you lasso them, or you swap them, or you hook them, right, or you jump on them. This lets you catch, and the cast range of this item is crazy, like 60 meters or something. Just half of the screen, you just click on them and just run at them. So just amazing, and I think gives you ability range and sprint speed, all buffs that you want. And again, helps you do your job better. And these items are based on game and kind of more flexible, like, right? But they all make the job of the enemy harder. Like this makes jobs of things like Geist and Yamato harder, right? Because you put this, when they're low HP, you click this and she cannot swap and she cannot ult. So amazing. This makes life harder for things like Silver, guys who want to shoot, right? For these people, makes life harder. And this makes life harder for fat boys who just press Dispel Magic, right? Because they just don't heal, they take 8% HP damage, very, very annoying. Curse, same thing as this, but usually you're gonna be buying it in every game, because there's not a lot of situations where Curse will be bad. And you can take the tank the cost, but really depending on your hero. Like if you're Vindicta, I think you don't want to buy this, because you are such a hero which gets value in a team fight because you deal a lot of damage, and taking away 10% of your damage or 8% is pretty big deal. So you probably won't buy it on that, and you'll just have one of these guys buy it for you instead, because they're not really all about the damage. They have different kind of, they're all about utility and helping their team in other ways. This already explained it over here, but great item because good buffs, ability range plus healing reduction, AoE healing reduction in a fight, and you're gonna be starting fights. So amazing item. This again upgrade from Slow Hex, AoE, blah blah blah, nukes, AoE Slow Hex, amazing, etc. etc. Cooldown level 2 and level 3, because you're gonna be buying a lot of actives, and for this, because you have very strong spells and you're going to be ganking on the map a lot, so you want to have your spells up all the time and keep up the tempo, and just your buttons are very strong, so you want them to be up as often as possible. So that's what cooldown helps you with. Rescue Beam, you have a chance to buy this because to counter like other supports or other initiators, because if if you're playing with your offlaner and he gets lassoed, you can just rescue beam him out and save him. And your offlaner will tell you thank you because he can play much more aggressively and much more greedier. This, again, you're gonna be running around on the map for things like this, It lets you run around the map faster, so cover more ground and get to ganks, get to enemies faster, close the distance. So amazing item because you are all about map traversal and you like to run around the map and things like that. Same thing with Fortitude, you're gonna be constantly running around. This gives you 1.5 MS when you're like above 75% HP, I believe, or 50, I don't remember the condition. But gives you MS, lets you stay on the map longer, like you do not have to go to base. And these heroes are hurt the most by going to base, because they constantly want to be on the map, they constantly want to cause some kind of chaos, causing a setup, ganking enemies, killing enemies, helping their heroes. They don't want to be in base whatsoever. Refresher, because most of these heroes have very strong ults, and having 2 of those ults is, pretty strong. This guy has a strong ult. So yeah, Refresher is very strong. Flask, because you have a lot of control, CC in these heroes, and so this is an item that helps you on something like Vindicta, because she also gets like 50% item range, and this just covers like the whole screen. It's all over the screen, the bio. And it lets her deal more DPS and help her teammates deal more DPS as well, while also burning them when they're staked to the ground. But yeah, it's great because it gives you the option of kind of maybe solo killing, because this guy puts Flask down and then he eats them, and then they're burning with Flask and taking damage, right? She does the same thing, like but also because you will set up it for like one of these heroes, you'll Flask underneath, you will eat them, and then these guys are hitting, you're shredding their bullet resist with this. These guys are telling you thank you, and the enemies are cursing you and your family. So all in all, amazing. Shield items. Shield items are good on these heroes because, but like they're good on the squishier heroes like Paradox, Holiday, because like fatter boys don't really care about getting shields, because they're just fat. But squishier ones kind of want it because they don't really want resist, because their health pool is not that big, right? And a shield is these are very easy to proc, and they get move speed as well, so like they're able to jump in, initiate like press their buttons, take some buttons to their face, because well, they're the initiator that kind of comes with the job, and they'll get a free shield, get the move speed to get out, or to maneuver a little bit until their team like pulls up and everything. These are just purely counter items, and these are very good in fights, and you're going to be starting fights, so it's good for you to have this, right? Also gives you ability range, and ability range is pretty good on these guys. And you buy this if you see an enemy which gets countered, like usually you want to buy this into a pocket. For your offlaner, trust me, your offlaner will carry you the game if you buy this for him when the pocket is in the enemy team, because this guy, like, Shiv will get ulted by pocket, you click this on your Shiv, and Shiv tells you thank you, and cuts down the whole enemy team. Okay, all of these items are like gun items, which help this for shred. You should buy on something with good gun like Paradox, right? And with good guns such like Graves, but Graves cannot proc this, so she just doesn't buy this. But you with a good gun like Paradox, you can buy this item for countering something like Mr. Victor. Or Bebop has also a good gun. Warden has a good gun. Right? They can build gun items which give them gun damage, which shred the resists of enemies, which helps their team deal more damage, right? But also helps them deal more damage. But they're in essence they're like supporting items because they shred resists for your team. But yeah, these are just plainly just Graves, because she these gun heroes which can buy gun and proc this very easily, like especially Graves, right? This for Graves, this for Graves, this for Varden, for Bebop, right? So perfect items for them. Diviner's Kevlar, good, amazing, because some of these heroes are just, they're based on the fact that you want to press your ultimate, right? And that's kind of your whole thing. Like Pocket, all he wants to do is ult. And what happens after that is kind of like it doesn't matter, but he would like to survive and click his buttons as well. And this gives you ability duration, which is amazing on Pocket and a lot of these heroes, like Paradox. The locus ability duration makes her bomb go grow bigger. So yeah, it gives you good stats in terms of duration. Like duration is good here, everywhere, because works with every CC, works with all of your actually like this, it's ability duration, not item duration, right? Correct. But yeah, but great item because like you want to click ultimates here and then you want to survive, right? Just amazing. Good for holiday, amazing for holiday. This is just a kind of the same thing as these items with shred. There is a bullet resist of enemies. This is just the same concept. You can just help your gun carries deal more damage by buying these items for them. And this is the same, just shred, very good in lane, good on something like Paradox, good on Bebop, probably even good for Moikrill, right? Because you kind of jump, you hit them with one bullet, you shoot this, and you buy this, and they're burning, they're like shredded for like 26 or something percent of their bullet resist, and these guys are just completely nuking them with gun. Now this is just an upgrade version of this, but honestly, you know what I thought about this? I think this might be an item for offlaners, for like hyper late game, because it takes up an active slot, and physical characters don't really build a lot, like too much active slots. So they could probably have a spot for this, but these guys want active slots because they're going to be buying these types of items, right? They want their active slots to be available, but this doesn't take up active slot and gives you invisibility, and it's perfect for them in mid, early, like whenever, right? So yeah, this item probably for offlaners. Items you don't buy. The egg, same as over here. You're in the side lane, aggressive lane, where you're going to be trading, so you cannot just delete 10% of your damage without like just for free. I understand having money is nice, but this is just not acceptable. Just never buy this. Same thing here as over here. Like unless you plan to buy rescue beam, right, in the game, this you not buy it in lane, because same reason as over here, you have to be aggressively taking position, taking space in the lane, taking power positions, and getting healed by healing right stops you from even just going even into lane, right? You have to go hit boxes, and when you hit boxes, you give up prior. This is a counterintuitive item, because you would think, because this gives you ability range, which is very good, gives you sprint speed, and you're going to be running around the map constantly, right? But what it also, but and it gives you like stacks, because you're going to be ganking opponents, you're going to be setting up kills, and you're going to be doing that while you're not going to be farming, and by getting stacks, you're going to be getting souls, right? So it kind of makes sense with the gameplay and with the job that these guys want to do. But the problem is that this item gives you nothing when you buy it. You could buy more damage or more mobility to run around the map faster, or dash around the map and jump around the map faster. You could buy knockdown to be able to catch opponents better, and these items would help you do your objectives and do your job. While this, like, even if you're ahead and you buy this item, you essentially gave up your lead. You just took your advantage and just threw it out the window, but just to be on equal grounds with enemies, in the hopes that you will get some kind of stacks and somehow this item will be useful. It's you need items which give you damage, which let you catch opponents easier, so that you can secure like kills, because you want to gank an opponent and you want to kill them. You want the gank to be successful. You don't want to gank them and then maybe 50%, maybe I kill them, maybe I don't. And this item will help you secure a kill, like, and get close to the opponent and stop him from running away. This item will help you do that, and this item will not. And the only way you'll be able to get those stacks is if you like, because you're gonna be the one initiating, right? And your job is to initiate. These guys can buy it, this item, and just give you a barrier and easily loot a stack. Well, you need the damage and the other items to set up a kill, and then to make sure that kill happens. You need the damage shit. Okay, these 3 items I see people, like fucking people players buy. Um, you are not a tank. These items are exclusively for offlaners. Your job is to initiate fights, to gank opponents. These items do not help you do any of those things, right? These items help you kill, help you catch, help you set up opponents. This helps you traverse the map and be able to like more actively and get stamina. You have stamina all the time, and so you can move around the map more efficiently and all the time. So like this is good. These items don't help you do your job whatsoever. So please never buy this. Resists, again, you don't want these items because you want to initiate a fight, you want to press your buttons, and then what happens after? You can die. It doesn't matter. You can die, it won't, and plus you usually have small HP pools. Maybe Krill. Krill is the only one who can really buy these because he kind of wants to ult and he wants to live while he's ulting, and these items will help him live. Like this one particularly because he gets 50% bullet resistance when he's ulting anyway. So buying this one will kind of save him from spirit. But otherwise, you're all small HP pools. It's better to buy barriers, which give you good stats. This doesn't give you good stats, doesn't help you do your job whatsoever. Doesn't help you initiate, doesn't help you catch, gank, etc. etc. This item. You will be buying it because but in hyper late game, because all of these are basically all like spirit. Most of them are spirit. Some are gun, right? Like this, and this. But you all have good spirit scalings, and you're all mostly spirit. And this an item which gives you raw stats in spirit is very good, but in hyper late game. In early to mid, you want to max out your active slots, and you want to max out, and you want to buy like this item, you want to probably buy this item and like course, and then you want duration for it to last longer, you want to buy this, and only then, or maybe and even maybe refresher, only then maybe can you think about this item. Okay, because all it gives you is raw stats. It doesn't, like, raw stats will help you with the damage part, right? But it won't actually help you like do your job more effectively. The same as with these items, like, or at the same level that these items, at the same level of effectiveness as these items can. Misc reverb. This item, I see people buy it on Lash. Don't buy it on Lash. You already have enough slow in his kit with his one. You don't need the damage from it. You do not benefit from the lifesteal whatsoever, because in the perfect world you want to initiate when you're full HP, and with Lash you're going to be initiating with your one, right, or with your ult, and so when you ult them, you're going to be full HP, and they're not going to deal damage to you, so you're going to be full HP again, and then when you ult them, you throw them, and then you click your one, deal billions of damage, and that's it. So the lifesteal is kind of you buy this item to lifesteal off of one ability for something like Shiv or something like Apollo. You're not buying it for the utility part of it, or like just the slow, because let me tell you, if you want just the slow, you can buy this and upgrade it to this, and this will be much better. Quicksilver on Lash and on Krill, as people buy it. In lane, this item is just bad compared to other items which help you lane. Like in terms of lane, this item is just bad. If you are ahead and you get some kind of gun items, I can see a world where you buy this, but it's a slot which you could buy instead of this item. You could buy this, or you could buy Mystic Shot into this item, and it will be 10 times better, because you kill the creeps faster, you trade with your gun's pretty good on Lash, by the way, you trade with opponents better, and you can guarantee yourself a Mystic Shot proc, by the way, when you jump on them with your one, when you have 2 levels in it. So this item is just bad in general. Counterspell. Again, you are supposed to initiate fights. If you get initiated on, well, it's unlucky, go next. Get better positioning and try to get more information from the map when you look at it. And trying to get caught out, okay? And you're supposed to be the one doing the catching out. Yeah, you don't need the counter spell. This is an item to help you live longer and dodge certain spells. Again, you live for the fact that you want to initiate. You just want to initiate a fight, set up a gank. So you just want to get at an opponent and click your buttons. And once you click your buttons, you completed your job. You don't need this item to live longer. Right? You can even die and it will be good. if you use their ultimate, it's good. Again, and these are just all similarly save items. You don't need this. You're initiating fight. You're not kind of in the center of a fight and trying to get out of it. You're supposed to create the fight, and then it's up to these guys and these guys to already deal the damage in a fight and live long, and already just it becomes their job, because your job is done because you already started the fight. Now it's their time to play the game and their time to press their buttons and everything else, and to save you and to heal you, right? It's their job. You don't need these save items. This again in lane, bad. Same thing as with this. Aggressive lane, you're gonna be trading a lot. Not gonna be looting half of an item's buffs. Why would you want to buy this? I don't know. Buy normal purple and orange items, which are aggressive and which will help you trade in lane and push the wave and get prio, etc., etc. Just horrible item. I don't even know why I put this here. Who buys it? I think Viscous players. Just don't buy this item. I don't know why I have it, but it's just bad item. It's understand, like it's evidently a bad item. Just don't buy it. Torment Pulse, I see on Krill. Trust me, instead of Torment Pulse, you can buy this item, and you will get the same amount of damage in your ult, and you will help your team much more. Trust me, much more impact from this item than this dog shit on Krill. Just don't buy this item. Cultist, same story as everyone else except this, because this is an item only for these heroes, only for core role. You don't need this. You're not going to be farming. You're going to be running around the map and initiating fights. And in a perfect world, you're going to be farming enemy heroes, right? And if you're going to be invading their camps, again, you do not farm tier 3 camps on these heroes. If I see you doing that, I will find you. You are maximum going to burst like one enemy tier 2 camp, because you have like very strong buttons for doing that. But that's it. That's how your invade works. That's it. Echo Shard. Oh yes. The infamous Bebop with Echo Shard first item. So Bebop, if I know it will be hard to believe, but Bebop is a hero which does not work around his bombs, he works around his hook. I know it's hard to imagine. He is not about, you don't pick Bebop to just stack bombs. Like if you do, you're ruining the game. You're ruining the game for your team, for the 5 other people on your team. Bebop is all about his hook. He's all about hooking targets, and then when they're close to him, he wants to make sure they don't get away from his A, and B, he wants them to die. So what helps him with this is slowing Hex, silence wave, knock down to secure the hook, and then gun items to kill them, right? Because he has a very good gun to proc all of these things. Echo Shard is a dogshit item. You stack bombs, like it's just nice if you could get a lot of stacks. That is not your priority on this hero. Please stop buying this dogshit. I understand Bebop is a shit hero like overall, but please do not make him even worse by buying this item. And completely killing away the potential of the hero with his hook because you want to do this. Okay, so that's 3 roles done. Finally, the hard sports. These are the hard sports. These heroes, they excel at one thing, and that is, well, not one thing only, but one of their core strengths is, and the way their kit is designed, is that they are really good at counter-attacking or counter-initiating on opponents. So what this really means is that when one of these guys, or even God forbid it's one of these guys jumping into you, I mean that's very funny, but one of these guys, right, they jump onto you, and Ivy throws down her 1, clicks her 3, and clicks her 2, and like sucks up to one of her cores, and suddenly the situation for the guy who just jumped into Ivy is pretty bad, because number 1, he's burning from her 1, he's taking damage, he's stunned by her 3, and the core who is buffed up with her 2 is shooting at him, like at them while they're stunned. And in this situation, you need to run away because you're losing too much HP, taking too much damage. And there's a similar situation for every one of these heroes and all of their kits. Like, you jump into McGinnis, she puts down her wall, she puts down a turret, puts down her heal, presses her ult, and you need to run away because she just made like create a space or an environment where it's advantageous for her to take a fight and disadvantageous for you. Like, they are able to make an initiation from an enemy. They're able to turn the tables on them at the flip of a switch when they have their cooldowns. And that's how all their kits work. Another thing that they're good at is, or characterized, is the fact that they have very strong ultimates, very strong buttons, and they usually have a heal or a barrier or some kind of buff for the core, for a guy who wants to shoot with his gun. And here is like weapon damage and fire rate in the barrier, fire rate in her heal, or whatever, and she just has a heal. Fire rate and lifesteal in her too, and heal and fire rate in his too. And also like move speed and everything like that. So all have buffs for their cores with heal or some kind of sustain, something that helps keep these guys alive and keeps them healthy. So now, what are the goals of these 4 people? Number 1 is they want to babysit this guy in lane when they're going in mid. And what they do that is by playing like in opponent's face. They want to constantly click their buttons. Like Paige constantly wants to be clicking her buttons on opponents, and because her gun is pretty trash and she can get out-denied pretty easily. But Dynamo wants to play close in like Veil over here, right? And close because he's a fat boy as well, like 900 HP, level 1 or something. Right? And he wants to get close so he can land his kinetic pulse. And things like that. And because these guys can essentially trade the resources, because they can heal up, they have a heal, he has a barrier to put on herself or on her teammate, as well, like lifesteal, she has heal in her 3. Like, they're able to use their HP as a resource so that this guy does not get shot at. These guys are like taunting the enemies while these guys are shooting the wave and then shooting the opponents in that order. So yeah, they want to babysit their core in lane. Then after lane is done, after this guy has got like their items, like they got this and all these items, and they're just able to, they just kind of, after laning phase is basically over, they transition into playing close to these guys. And these guys also transition at that point, is they want to start a fight close to these guys, because these guys want to get into a fight because they have very strong ultimates and very strong buttons, and they buy like items like this and this, which is like super strong in a fight, because being able to heal with this item like 400, like 1600, if it's a 4v4, like 1600 HP for your whole team is very strong. So they want to be in a fight, but they are not really mobile and they can't get to a fight. So it's these guys' job to start a fight around these guys, or where these guys can easily get to it. So yes, they want to be in the fight, and after laning phase is over, they are starting to run around. They want to click their buttons and buy items, and they want to be there for objective fights, for like Urn fight. They want to be there for buff to contest it, etc., etc. And another of their jobs is to, when your team like got a 2-player advantage or 1-player advantage, they want to go with their core, jump into mid boss pit, take it in 20 seconds, and game is over, GG. That's also their job. So now, what items do they want? So this item is just good in lane, because all of them have some kind of charges, right? Charges here, charges here, charges here, charges here, and grades into this, and it's just very good because something like Paige like has a bad gun, and so she kind of wants to get a lot of more spirit and be able to throw her dragon like more often is good for her. So Egg, again, I explained, this is the only heroes that can buy it, because they have utility which can make up for, or the level of their utility can make up for the amount of damage that they lose, right? Because she can throw a barrier, and by buying this egg, she can throw a barrier on her haze, which will this will not like be 10% less weapon damage or 10% less fire rate from the barrier. It does not get affected by the 10% damage. So yeah, so the amount of the utility that they have in their buttons is like does not get affected by the damage that they lose from this. There's also a micro moment where they have a 7.2k souls invest, right, which kind of negates the 10% damage from the amount of spirit that they get, but that's like a micro moment of builds, and maybe I'll talk about that in some kind of future video. But yeah, so this is item for these heroes, exclusively for these heroes. Healing booster is obviously they're gonna buy heal. They have heal in their kits. They'll be able to heal more in team fights, and they're gonna be active in team fights, right? So amazing synergy with their kits. Rescue beam from this, right? This is team fight item, healing. Levels from this can buy this to save your core if they have things that break the positioning of your core in a fight, right? Or to save one of your offlaner again if this guy gets stolen and they have abilities or ultimates to break position of your offlaner. Just a good save item in general. This item, because you want to get this like in lane, because you're going to be partnered with a core who shoots with their gun, and so buying this item helps them deal more damage and just helps you in trades in the mid lane, specifically in the mid lane, right? Just good item in general, because again, support item which puts debuff on the opponent, and you're gonna be in fight, you're gonna be putting this debuff on people. So something like Dynamo, you're gonna ult, and then everyone's gonna be getting this, and then your haze with ricochet, like in late game, which is gonna completely rip apart the enemy team. But that's like late game. When talking about closer early to mid, when you're gonna be joining fights, you're still gonna black hole, and like these guys are gonna be shooting with their gun when their spells are off like or cooldown, and you're just gonna help your team be able to deal more damage into your buttons. Good. This item good because all of these heroes have some kind of way of looting both like all valuable stats that this gives, like spirit, power, ability range, and ability duration. Like you have this bitch with her dragon, right? Or her 2. Like her 2 can benefit from duration and from spirit because the amount of barrier it gives and the stats that the buffs that it gives. Her 1 benefits from all 3 of the buffs. This guy's ultimate benefits from all. The heal benefits from all. Heal turrets ult benefits from all. So like it's just like a very good effective item on all 3 of these heroes. This upgrade of this helps your core do more damage because it gives them DPS, gives them fire rate. Amazing item, gives them move speed as well. Super item. Upgrades from this. Self-explanatory on these heroes. Barriers. This is a very strong item because you get it early, and then you join fights, and you give one of these guys an extra 200 HP and some move speed, which they really like. The move speed and even just the 200 HP is very nice. This just upgrades, just a good item again to save your guys here who get ulted by Pocket or something else, right? Just very good. And to just dispel annoying shit from them as well. This again, I talked about it over here. This just similar to Egg. These are the only heroes that want to buy this item. These guys, because they're really able, they can easily get a participation in a kill or like an assist with their buttons. Like barrier here, a heal, a long range ult, 3, her 2, right, long range 1. So they can easily get the stacks. And because they farm usually slower or worse, less efficiently than all like these guys, right? And even these guys. So they like this. And they get sprint speed. And because they're like less mobile, this will let them join fights. The further these guys can then start fights even further away from these guys, because these guys will have enough stacks to get there in time. Decay and Heal Bane. Just good support items. It's like similar here. You can apply this debuff and both of your cores will say thank you because they don't want to buy health reduction. So it's just a good item, and you can't really buy this because you can't really proc it efficiently. So this and this, you could just, in a fight, this is just such a strong item. You can throw it on one offlaner and force them to use Dispel, and then they're in a very bad spot, because if they use Dispel and then one of your supports procs this on them, they're out of a fight. One of these guys is out of fight. But if they don't use Dispel, they're just burning, not healing. You just made so much impact just by pressing one button. With Healbane especially, like super annoying to play against. Infuser, just good. You have good spells to proc it. Debuff item helps you trade into other cores when you're standing in mid lane. Good item in lane and just in game, because for turrets here, one here, dragon here, 3 here, Ivy 1 as well. Disarming Hex helps again, another something like decay to make the life of enemies harder, and you are able to buy this item as like a counter item. You can buy counter items like counter spirit items, actives. You can buy it is because your role and your builds are pretty versatile in this game, I would say, for the most part. Because you guys can buy Skurs, you're not afraid of the damage loss. You guys can buy this, you can buy decay even, right? You can buy this to counter, you can buy these 2 items if you don't need to buy any counter items. You can just buy these 2 and just be a heal bot, right? And you can buy this, a lot of options essentially. But yeah, upgraded battery, just upgrade from this. Just amazing, right? No need to say anything. Weak point, again, for things like Ivy who have a good gun, you land 1 headshot, suddenly your core deals more damage. And then you buy this item, throw your 1, and now your core deals like 20, they're like shredded for 21%, your core does 21% damage more. He says, thank you very much, Ivy, for buying these 2 items for me, instead of me, so I don't have to waste my money. Cooldown, again, you have very strong buttons. For team fights, you have strong ultimates, so you want to have them more often. And you have heal, so having your heal more often, being able to heal your team after a fight, to sustain them in a fight, is very, very, very good. This, again, gives you cooldown, and that's what you're interested in. You don't really shoot your gun, especially on something like Paige. This item is like very good on Paige, because she doesn't fight or farm with her gun, she farms with her spells, she fights with her spells, and being able to get those spells, have them up more often, is good for her. Mystic Slow, same as Suppressor, but just slows and upgrades into that other item, that scroll, Lightning Scroll. Should I put Lightning Scroll here? Maybe. But it's kind of good. Yeah, it's kind of good on all heroes, so it's okay to buy, because the upgrade from here is good, and this is just a good item. AoE, I'm kind of skeptical about this, but I think it's still a good item. It works on Dynamo, right, to have bigger black hole, bigger BBH. Curse, understandable. Counter item, which you can buy because your role is pretty versatile and your builds are pretty versatile. Heroic Aura on something like McGinnis is very strong, because you're going to be in fight, center of fight, everyone's going to be getting this aura, everyone's going to be getting bullet resist, they're going to be getting move speed, and your core is going to be getting the fire rate, which increases their DPS, and just amazing. And it also increases your DPS on something like McGinnis, because your turrets, I believe, benefit from the buff, from the fire rate buff. So yeah. And this is kind of skeptical. I actually probably remove this. This is an item probably for these guys, because they have the setup, they have the stun for them to burn, to utilize the burn of this, and set up for these guys to just put DPS into like one of the setups. Okay, items you don't buy. Monster rounds, which upgrades into cultists, you don't buy. You're not supposed to farm, you're not farming, you don't farm well, you don't farm good, and that's not even your job. The ways to get souls are in the egg and in trophy collector. This is the way you get money, not with this. Veil Walker you don't buy, Fortitude you don't buy, because you have heal already for you and for your team. And Veil Walker, I see people buying on Dynamo, you don't need it because you are not an initiator, you don't need to scout. The initiators are the one which are running in front and scouting and initiating and setting up. You don't need these items. These don't let you do your job. Split shot on page. Please don't buy this item. It's useless. Buy a normal item like this or finish this. Right? Don't be an idiot. Radiant regeneration. I see on Ivy. Just don't buy it. Again, an item for offlaners. You have heal #1 in your kit, and it's much better for you to buy this. And being able to heal your whole team for like 400 HP in the AoE is much better. Bad item. Stamina mastery. Now I know you play Page and you have 2 stamina, and and it's very annoying because you cannot maneuver in a fight. Someone jumps on you, you're dead, right? And you think you'd buy this item and you're like, okay, I will easily kite them, or I'll run away from them, or I can join a fight, or God forbid you start a fight. No, that's not your job. It's nice to have. Stamina master is a very like quality of life item, but that quality of life comes at the cost of $3,200, which you could have bought this or this. And I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but you don't have to buy an item which helps with your positioning or helps you save your positioning. You just have to learn to get a better position in a fight, right? You have to learn to play the game better and get better at the game, instead of buying items as a crutch solution. Slowing Hex. Slowing Hex, similar. It's this, and Knockdown is an item for supports because these are items that help them initiate and set up kills or initiate fights. That's not your job. I know people like to buy it on page. They click this and then they click their 3 and set up their 3. But your 3 is supposed to be when someone jumps on you, you put it underneath yourself, and then you either dash away or you put your dragon, and then you throw a barrier on one of your teammates, and he's shooting them while they're rooted, and then they have a big problem, and they need to run away. You don't use it aggressively. You're not supposed to use your 3 aggressively. You can, but you can, but only when you have your ult, so that your ult can set up your 3. By the way, so these are just bad items. They're items for aggressive gameplay, for initiating fights and setting up kills, for this role, not for your role, not for your heroes. Echo Shard. Please just don't buy this. Oh my god. Just don't buy this. This already talked about this. Save items. Same thing as here. Just you have to have better positioning and learn to play the game. Learn how to just position better in fights. You don't need crutch solutions because they will hurt you in the long term. This already explained. Oh my god, these items. Dynamo does not need gun. Dynamo is not a gun hero. He doesn't need the gun invest that this item and this item gives. He doesn't need it. Stop buying gun items on Dynamo, I beg you. And that is what I'll leave it at. Just don't buy this. I don't even want to explain it, but I put it because I see Dynamo players buying this for some fucking reason. But anyways, that was all the roles. Explained like what they do, why they do it, like what they do, what items help them do that, and what items don't help them do that job, and what heroes go to what role, where they lane, where they go in the game, what they do by the game, what their game plan is. Everything was explained. Now you know how to play Deadlock 101. Once again, I will be leaving the link to this whiteboard in the description, and my Twitch, which you can come visit, because the next video I'm going to be making, I'll probably be doing on stream, talking about in-depth laning guide. About what you want to do in lane, what are power positions, where you want to play on left lane, right lane, how you want to play on left lane, right lane, what heroes you want to pick on left lane, right lane, why, like box routes in all lanes, when you're supposed to be box routes, like power positions, timers, when you're supposed to be at what time on the of the game, box routes over here, because that's like the most important, and all of those kind of things, power positions as well in this map or in this lane. All of that will be in the laning guide in the future. But for now, I bid you farewell, and I will see you next time in the next video, in the next guide. Goodbye.